Papa Tony?
That's Papa Tony.
Papa Tony and Uncle
Uncle
Dave.
Dave. I should have put Uncle Dave instead of Dave with Affordable Goods.
That's okay. I mess up all the time, man. It's I never know exactly what to do on these
Oh,
forums
look at that.
anymore. I seen you put me up. Oh, is that us?
Can you see that?
Dude, that's a young looking dude.
That's you.
Who's that young looking dude back there?
Look at that. I was like, holy cow, that's been a minute.
Wow. Oh yeah, it was. That was that is in the car wash? Looks like a car wash. I bet that was a car wash. I used to work for.
Yeah. I bet so.
Oh man, those were the days.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
Yep.
Yeah, I man. You know what's really funny about that? I'll tell you something on that car wash. So I've gone to I went through it like twice with the Ford Ranger, and that's with a full ladder rack on it, right? Never had a problem. And I don't know if the guy quite knew I was doing it, but he always kind of made it like he knew I knew how to hit the button to make it do a cycle and get a free car wash. So I did it this one night, and of course every time I was here or there, it was always we're talking 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the morning. And I went through that darn thing, and I tell you what, man, for whatever reason, that boom came up. It's one of those power washing ones. It caught the rack, and it made all kinds of noise. It went boom, it boinged and everything, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just broke his machine!" And so I didn't do that no more. No more taking that truck through the car wash. He never said nothing. It put the machine in some kind of weird mode, but I know he always had cameras in there. So he'd always be watching me, like, he'd be like, "Yeah, so you're still working there, and I'd be like, "Yeah, we're still here. Okay, just checking in, see how things are going. They're going, as best they can,
He probably thought that some bitch never say anything.
I know. And the worst part about that job was like, it was one of those things that I always had to go to because I was the only one that knew how to work the machinery. And then it seemed like every time I would send somebody else out there, it just never failed. They would forget to unplug or plug it back in or cycle the darn thing. So I'd always get a phone call, and I don't know if the owner just kind of did it as like hey, your guy you sent out here. He always knew it wasn't me, right? Because he had the cameras, and the cameras weren't real clear as far as I know, but he could tell. And he was like, "Hey, your guy you sent, he never plugged it back in," and it was always that limbo. Like I'm like, so. Do you want me to come out and plug the unit back in, or like, can you do it? Because it's not too far away. It was always that weird, like, I guess I'll start heading out that way. And of course, for us, that one location it was right about 47, 50 minutes away one way. So that was always a bummer. Mar's on here. What's up, Mar? I say you got going as I'm watching a 2-year-old affordable door and gate video. 2-year-old. Yeah. It's must when I was a young buck, So yeah,
Cap right there.
What's that?
Is that Cap? I've seen this video before. He's sitting.
It might be. Was he? We were doing springs or something, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep. Little. Are you and him about the same age?
He's just a hair younger, I believe. Maybe a year or two, I think. So, yeah, probably. So now, what happened? You went up to Michigan, and then you were coming back, and you did how many jobs? Did you do one, or did you do three, or do you have to just call 2 people?
I went up 2. I did one in Michigan, and I didn't make any money.
What happened?
Nothing. Well, it was for my mechanic. We're doing labor for labor. He has a friend.
Oh.
He said, go up there. He'll buy the parts. Well, I didn't need any damn parts.
Oh no.
And I didn't want to make something up. I'm not that way.
Right.
He had a Genie operator. I was taking the lens cover loose. It flipped down. There was only one screw. Flipped down, fell, and shattered.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. He goes, oh, it's all right. That's very embarrassing.
Yeah. I mean, it's all right for you and not for me.
I Sam, bring you up. I said, I can get one out of the dumpster, find one.
Yep. Exactly.
About it.
I've been thinking about those lens covers.
Yeah.
I am surprised. I haven't done hardcore search for them. I didn't see none on eBay. And oh, hey, we got roughly 8 people. So if you guys don't mind, don't forget to hit the like button.
Yeah, go ahead.
But what I'm getting at is that I'm surprised nobody's 3D printing them out there. That's getting like an old one and then start 3D printing them because
Uh,
I was just looking for some random ones, like the Craftsman's, old Craftsman's and stuff, and nobody was even selling them. I thought somebody will probably sell one on eBay for $40,
yeah,
in good condition, perfect condition or something, but there wasn't much. And I thought, that's kind of interesting. I just don't know if there's not a market, if it's just, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. That's surprising because hell, everybody's printing stuff.
I know, I know. We
I,
we got a family friend or whatever, that's part of the kids or whatever, and she's printing little stuff. I mean, just amazing little creatures that move, and I'm like, that's 3D printed. Like, how did you make that? And then so I'm thinking like a lens cover can't be that hard, I would think.
no, no, I wouldn't think so. But yeah, I bought a bumper for a metal truck, an old vintage metal truck. They
Oh,
3D print them now. I was like, huh,
they did a bumper,
a bumper.
like we're talking like a full blown bumper.
A bumper on no, just on a three little metal truck.
Oh, gotcha,
Like
gotcha. Okay,
seven.
gotcha. Dang,
Oh man, I need that bumper.
that's crazy.
Cool as hell.
That is cool. That is
It
really
is.
cool.
It is. It's pretty neat that they do that stuff.
Huh. That is interesting. Yeah, I don't know how big their machines. I mean, heck, what are they doing? Building houses? I mean, is what they've been doing. Some of the 3D houses, that little oozer thing or something.
Yeah, they can build all kinds of stuff anymore. I bet.
I know it's probably just going to get better and better.
Yeah, trying to find us on the computer here.
Go for it. I already synced up. I think. I'll read some of these comments. We got Rich B. He deleted. Ooh, he's on here. He's tearing it up. Thanks, Rich. Oh,
Oh,
Rich had to put a hot dog with that darn old mustard on it. And he just goes under the belt all the time. He knows I don't like mustard. What's the guy? Holy Solidor Abadiobre. Something on here. I can't read that one. Sorry, YT. That means hello there in, is it Hindi? 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 Well, hello, hello. That's pretty sweet.
Rusty's on here. I see.
Oh, he jumped on too. I'm just falling down here. Mars
Yeah.
got what's Rich got him quick. Toilet paper roll will work. What's a toilet paper? What's that toilet paper roll, Rich B? What's he got for that? Will
I
work.
don't know.
What's up, guys? What's up,
Right.
Rusty? Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. The paper.
I don't know. We probably said something.
Never
We're getting old.
fails. Never fails. What do you guys got out there? We need some comments. We need some questions. What's going on out in the world? Rusty, he sent me a picture. I didn't realize what model was that again, Rusty? For opener, the LiftMaster jack shaft. It still had the sensor on it. I thought the sensors were all gone on LiftMaster now, the jack shafts. I guess that's not the case. He was telling me which one, but of course I'm on the phone that I need for that. The 8900Ws, that's the one.
Huh.
Yeah, so I was like, I seen that sensor and I was like, well, I'll be darned. Now I'm assuming, I don't know if anybody knows for sure, the Genies, as far as I know, the Genies never went with any sensors, the external sensors. And I don't know what all models, they got one or two or three models in the Genies, but I don't know. That Genie one still makes me nervous. That does that, if it does the jiggle, it makes me nervous that a customer is going to always question you, or husband comes home and it's like, hey, well, I don't think it's supposed to be doing that, or a neighbor, or, I've had all kinds of weird things.
Yeah.
That makes me a little bit. I seem like I don't know. I don't know. The sensors seem kind of nice. I don't know. I mean, they're a pain, but it's just at least it's there to do what it's supposed to do.
The
And
sense.
don't forget, hey, we got up to 3 likes. So if you're scooting through here, don't forget to hit the like button.
What sensor you talk about?
The one that's got the little wheel on it for the
Oh,
cable.
the cable tensioner
Yeah,
sensor.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I thought LiftMaster was gone, and Rusty actually sent me a picture, and I said, "Oh, I didn't know they still had that going." And he said,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
I did too. I thought they got rid of it, but the one I have out in my shop, it has
oh."
a
So certain models just don't have it. So
Mhm.
Certain ones do. Kind of the tip. Is it
I,
just me, or do we might have mentioned this before, but does it feel like the remotes? There's just like a ton of remotes for LiftMaster now. Like, I mean, I just don't remember so many remotes.
well, uh, Evan got with me today on remote. I I carry the 893 Max
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
strictly because it covers that big everything. Other
Okay.
don't cover the 61 LM.
Right.
I can do a lot of stuff. I can't do a gate, of course, but
Obviously, right.
at 892 LT, that now that'll do a gate, that'll do your home, that'll do dip switches, um, that'll do the 61 LM.
Okay.
That's a pretty good remote. Pretty.
Okay. Did I failed to mention I'm not real happy with remotes right now. I did a boo boo, so I've been working at that big one, doing that half horsepower to 1 horsepower. And last night, laying in bed, sitting there ready to go off to La La Land, and all of a sudden I went, oh, I programmed the remote and I never gave it back to the customer. And I stuck it on top of the toolbox around a cord where it's like buried in because I didn't want to accidentally touch it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's not super far. It's only a 15, 20-minute drive one way. But I decided, I was like, I'll just go back there and find it and give it to the customer. And I was kind of bummed because I told the guy, and he's a pretty cool mechanic there, but he didn't even act like too excited about it. Like he was just like, oh, he's like, give it to George. And I'm like, whoa, where's, I don't know who, like I know who George is in this place. I'm like walking, I'm like, George, George. Then he finally like grabs it on my hand and goes and sets it on his toolbox. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. And I'm like, well, I'm leaving now. But one of those silly things, I just thought, oh,
I've gotten home and been like,
oh.
oh, been there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just, and this job was just, it was just one of those jobs that it was eating me up, man. It just had to get done right. Everything was just taking way longer. Chains popping. The door with all 4 springs needed a turn on it. So, and I couldn't get the spring turner on it. I could probably the bottom springs, but I just whipped out the winding bars. I wanted to use the spring turner.
Ooh,
Let's see. Well, you don't like that word, spring turner?
no winding bars.
Oh,
I've got one right here.
oh, is that your for your boogeyman?
It's holding the box down so I can set my phone don't take off.
So what's Kevin got on here? So Kevin's here. Welcome, Kevin. Glad to see you, hear you. You still using tension motion? If you want, still spot on board to wire one. Okay, so it sounds like maybe if you still want one, you can still do it. Still use tension monitor. Okay, okay.
Mm.
Must be still in there. Have to keep an eye out for that, Tony.
Yeah.
I think there's only, was it Rusty? I don't know if Rich B does any jack shafts. Like I don't do the jack shafts, man. Like we don't have a demand over here for it. I steer away from them as hardcore as I can.
I got one for you guys.
Oh,
The MT 5011U.
yeah.
It's a drawbar. Did now years past, were you able to, without hooking the wall button up, were you able to manually run it up at the power head?
I think you got to have that jumper though, right, for the stop, because you got to have.
Well, with the stop, close, and or start, close, and stop, up there at the board.
Maybe I don't know.
Run that,
You gotta. I just know you gotta have a stop hooked up. That's all. So you gotta have that jumper or whatever's in there.
and that's in there. That comes in there though.
I know. Right. Right. I feel like that's almost for something else, but I don't know why they even do it. Like I don't know. But anyways, go ahead.
Well, you got to have the wall button hooked up, and it's got to be hooked up right.
Uh, so I don't know if anybody knows this too. Supposedly, Cap has been having problems with the 3-station wall buttons. He says they're right about the 2 to 3 year old, and he says they're glitching out. Which I'm like, how does that thing glitch out?
I changed one not too long ago.
and he says, but there'll be a code. There's an error on the
Oh, the new.
on the LiftMasters. I'm talking commercial. Commercial.
But are you talking the new Max, the big one?
No, no,
Oh,
not the Max. We don't deal with the Max.
you're
So,
just open close stop
yep. They're basically very. And I just was really surprised.
with
He said,
light,
I've probably done 8 or 10 of them.
with the light.
Uh, I believe so. I believe so. So I know he got one that I was working the job I was at. He changed one. I know he said he had a couple other ones they changed, and he said, but there's something in there that makes them something's going goofy with them. And I thought, are you serious? The 3 buttons. I mean, I've installed those for years and
Mhm.
never had problems unless somebody smashes them,
Yeah,
bangs them up. They just wear out. You know, not throwing a code. And he says, yeah, he says you just can't get rid of it unless you change that out, put a new one in. And I'm like, and then another thing some people probably I think Kevin was one of them that was mentioning this. So at this job, I'm gonna beta test it here, but they did something goofy. They ran the photo eyes really high. I can't even believe this company did that, but whatever. And they ran the wire through that what is it called, the LMP light or whatever that's called, that one that will blink for you if you wire it in. But it sounds like you cannot program. So I read the manual, and it did say you could program it from the ground, but it had to be hooked to the LMP, like it had to be wired. And I thought, that's bullcrap. So
I
I
know.
just went. I think it was like you had to do stop, close, open, hold it for a few seconds, or let go, or whatever you're in a program. I could not get it to work. So I was like, well, maybe it's because it's not hooked up to the LMP or another. Because I think when you do that, you got to have, instead of what is it, 4 wires, you got to have five wires. So it's just something to think about, that you might, when you're wiring up those wall buttons, if you're doing commercial, you might want to get 5 wire conductor and wire it up to be the LMP. It might even be 6 wire because there's two LEDs, or the LED has 2 wires. I don't know if it's 5. Does anybody know if it's 5 or 6 wires?
Well, it's 4 standard. Just
Standard's 4, but I know to do the LMP, which is supposed to be, because the idea is that light will blink and that'll give you a code.
uh-huh. Well, there's 2 wires on there.
Right. So that's why I'm thinking might be 6.
Yeah, it's probably a 6.
Yeah, so most time we don't carry 6, but I'm just thinking in the future, because for me, honestly, it would have been a heck of a lot easier to program it down below
Yeah,
than I had to go above a crane and above a heater box or whatever was a fan, you
yeah,
know, standing on the rail of the scissor lift. And I just saw it. And then the problem was is that the customer, they're supposed to have 2. They can only find 1, and I'm just waiting for it, right? Like, well, do you got another one you could sell us? I'm thinking, no, I don't. So, then I got to come back, and if the scissor lift gets taken for another job, now what? You know,
yeah.
Davy Boy's going to go for a ride in a fork truck? Hell no, not this high. You know, not 26 feet up.
Makes my knees.
Right. You know, I mean, this one got me, man. When I went up in the air, I didn't have my sea legs yet, and I was doing the kind of like, holy crap, I got to get a harness. Let's see here. Let's go through some of these comments. What's
The
up,
older you
guys?
get, you'll see me. I'll be hanging on to the track.
Wow,
I'll be in
I,
the center left. And I'll be holding onto the track.
I felt a lot better when I was in that cubby, but when I had to go out in the open, because then everything, of course, you know how it is. I got to go up, and then I got to drive in because I got a that rail there for the crane. So
Uh-huh. I just don't like heights anymore.
yeah, I'll hear you.
I know it's going to hurt when I hit.
You're not gonna bounce that good.
I'm probably not going to get back up.
Great. What's up, Rusty's got? What's up, guys? For the sensors. Oh, he's talking about paper roll for the sensors. I think toilet paper roll.
Oh, over the, yeah.
89. Kevin says, can you still monitor? Seems like they're putting the single button out. They're putting the single button out a lot. I'm assuming Rich B's talking about that green button. I'm assuming that single. It seems like I've heard that on the residential jack shafts and stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find us here so I could help read the comments.
Oh, go for it. You're fine. I'll keep reading on here. Rusty's got Rich. He said, I think that must be a Chamberlain thing. All LiftMasters come with 3 button. Okay. And sometimes with Max from the factory. Good to know. Good to know. Rich has got Surewinder would have worked. Oh, the Surewinder. He's got Surewinder. Yeah, Surewinder would have worked.
It would work. Yeah.
It's got Rich B's got done a few. Kevin, what's Kevin got here? It says you need to do a jumper between stop and common. The jumper that is there is interlock circuit. Okay, see that's what I knew there was something that you gotta. If you probably would have jumpered the stop, you probably would have been okay to run it um, from the controls up in the circuit board. I always know you got to have a stop to do it, but that's what it is, that interlock. I always know there's something there. I've cheated before. I think I've taken it and moved it. What's Rusty got? The rip that little light off when I install those wall buttons. I know. So, Rusty, I'm right there with you for the most part. I do the same thing. I rip the wires, I rip them out. It was funny on this job. It was like they actually pulled the LED out and then they shoved their photo eye wire because they had the photo eye wires up so high, which I really can't believe this company did this because this place is only 2 or 3 years old. Because as far as I'm concerned, right, the photo eyes are always for human entrapment. Forget the vehicles, which don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't want it to come down on a vehicle or trailer, but I just if you're going to do that, then you got to get that external receiver, not the receiver. What's it called? CP4 or something like that, where you can have dual photo eyes on there. It's a pain in the butt. It's more accessories.
Oh,
more
yeah. Yeah.
But that's or go with maybe the LEDs. You know what I mean? Something. I just that I seen that I was like, whoa, especially on all the doors. But I just think more or less, I keep thinking to myself, maybe we should carry like 6 wire. Because really, how hard is it to wire that up? Just a couple more wires, and then you wire it up in the opener. And then the fact that you can do it from the ground, especially if they want a remote. The fact, because like I said, when you're 26 feet up in the air, hell no, I don't want to bring no system just for the remote. Just
Sorry.
and it,
Sorry.
I need a jumper. He says I rip. He says a little light off. He says it stops. It kills you. Oh, Rich B says it's the stop that kills you, Tony. That's right. When you're flying, you're alive, baby. It's just when you go splat.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, that's how it goes. So it's kind of one of those things. I think I might consider um, you know, might start considering hooking those wires up. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I've only opportunity.
I've only done it one time.
So you only hooked it up one time?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was always I had to run another wire, and I don't want.
Yeah. Then you got two. It's flopping. It's
I'm not
clean.
other than
Yeah,
program.
I'm just looking at it for like the next guy, and that's my only thing. And I'm assuming the reason it work. I didn't realize too. It said in the instructions that you can actually make a 3 button be open, close, and stop. I thought that was kind of convenient. I didn't do it that way, but because the remote was a 4 button, I don't remember what model it was, but they had 4 bays in and out, so I just did it that way.
Oh, and I think that 892 LT you can clone too.
Okay.
I think I was reading a lot of different, but I think it's that one you can clone.
Somebody, either you or me, we got to call LiftMaster and also check on that gate. See if they make a faster gate operator.
I've just been busy, and yeah, I will check. I thought, I ran the thing. I thought it ran pretty quick.
That's why, honestly, by the time he sees the price tag, he might go, "Nah, it's okay."
Well, the thing's not even a year old, and I think they paid, I don't know, 2 or 3 grand, 3,500 or something for it. And he said right away, "Well, I think it has to come out."
That's a good price. I mean, he's probably talking somewhere between 5, 6, and 8. For another one that's going to be more high speed and labor and everything else. I mean, just they don't give those darn things away. And then unless you have another home for that one, what do you do with it? It's like you just leave it in the customer's hands. Say you can sell it. I don't want it. If I find somebody, I'll recommend them to you. But you know.
Well, if they're gonna give it, I'll take it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But if it's one of those things like, well, you're going to take, 500,000 or two
I'll take
thousand.
$100 off.
Yeah, right. Exactly, exactly. Something real low, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
I was like, ooh, that's pretty nice.
They do nice. What's Rusty got here? He says it must be the young and dumb still because he said don't worry about falling. He says you guys saw that ladder I was climbing the other day. Yeah, on the wall. Yeah, yeah. When you're kind of young, sometimes you kind of got that fear or that the
Fearless.
that
Yeah.
you don't get fearless. You know, I I don't know, Tony. How do you feel about it? See, I look at it now, like I totally get it,
Well,
especially with employees and age. Um,
I've always, since even when I was working for somebody,
yeah,
I've always looked at it like, well, if I fall and I get hurt, they're not paying my bills. F that. Not do nope. Sorry, give me a
that is true.
That's where I'm at. I don't care any company I've worked for. No, you're not going to pay for me when I hit the ground. You're not going to pay for my daughter's braces. You're not going to,
Yeah, yeah,
mm-mm.
that that is true. That is true. That's something you gotta be thinking about. It's
Even now with the customer, for me, I'm sick. And I'm like, you need to call somebody else. They say anything, I'll tell them. Well,
right.
you going to pay my bills when I hit the ground?
Yeah, I never used to be so big on the safety, but
I,
nowadays, I look at it.
it's like that video. That video, I'm telling you, he nailed it, man. It ain't about this guy. It's all about
Right, right, right. Oh no, it's important. It's very important. You know, what I mean, it's you don't bounce.
yeah,
You might never recover either.
right, right.
The way it used to be. Kind of like when I sliced my knee open with a skill saw. That was stupid.
Oh, out.
Yep, yep. I was cutting big 1 inch thick cardboard, and yep, took her across the kneecap. That was not good.
Mm.
And it was the worst part. It was like when it kind of happened and all that. More or less, it was um, the recovery. I mean, I couldn't walk. I couldn't go to jobs anymore and do work.
Mm. Yeah, that
That was all a bummer.
that ain't good.
No, heads up. We got here.
Well,
What you guys
yeah,
got there in the YouTube world?
I'm gonna see what we got out in Denko. This just come in the mail today.
I think we get a few of those once in a while.
They're the best. Well, for, for tools and stuff. Excuse me.
Yeah, Rich says, "Don't be the hero. Don't be
Nope,
the
because
yeah
you'll be a zero at the end of the day.
yeah." It's kind of weird to me. I think a little bit weird, but I think about it like I always think about fighter jets. I always think about military and the army and the air force and all that. And I always go, they got ejection seats because they want to save that pilot, right? And
Hmm.
you think about all the years they put into this pilot and training, and this one's been in combat. And I think about that on a smaller scale because obviously some of us have, some of us haven't. Myself, I haven't. We, you know, we have all this experience and knowledge and everything, and how to do it and how to problem solve. And then I start looking at, I go, the equipment is nothing. If somebody gets in a car accident, hey, are you okay? Screw the ladder, screw the truck, screw the scissor lift. Are you okay? Because the recovery, and that's another thing too, when you got to think about, like, Mr. T, I don't think's in, but you start getting employees. That stuff that start going through your head, man. I've had it happen. I had a guy that smashed into somebody, deployed the airbags. You
Mm.
know, Macho Dave goes in there, goes, just cut the airbags out. I did that. I started letting them drive it, and 2 days later, my brain's going like, holy crap, this car is not up to specs anymore, safety standards. If this
Yeah,
person gets into another car accident and they get killed in it, I'm going to have their mom, I'm going to have their wife, I'm gonna have their girlfriend. You knew this wasn't safe, and I'm like, I had to sell the truck. It broke my heart because that was the best little Ford Ranger I ever had,
Uh,
but I had to sell it because airbags are deployed, and I thought, well, how's that going to work? Even like I don't even know if that's legal. Like if you get pulled over by a cop, even though we don't have inspections in Michigan, but are they going to go what? No, that's like not having seatbelts. You can't be driving this. You know what I mean? Like, so stuff you got to think about.
yeah, true. For sure.
Let's see here. I'll get Kevin. Kevin's got turn dial to program, press radio, then mid stop, then radio, then back to B2. LMP light will only be the indicator light, residential light. You do stop, close, open. Oh, oh. Yeah, Rusty's guy says safety is not my vocabulary. Hey, I get it, man. Like I said, I was, I think we're all kind of at one time in our life, we're all like the hot rodders and doing donuts and the wild cards, But it's funny, I remember when I was a young buck too. I just always remember people. Well, hey, make sure you're wearing wearing your safety glasses. Hey, make sure you're doing this, and I've been fortunate enough not to ever have that, but I've had it where my dad actually told me about how he goes, how they extract that out of your eye? If you get a chunk of metal in there and it's like, holy crap, and the worst part is a lot of times I catch myself, it's always on the weekends. That's when I find myself doing things, especially, doing home, working on a rental, something. And it's like grinding. I'm like, yeah, like they're not going to have their full staff or the best staff there, or somebody's going to have to get called in. I'm gonna go. Where's those safety glasses? Because
Yeah.
I just I know it's kind of like I think the way you got to look at it is we all know if you get into a car accident, your insurance is probably going to go up. It's going to be recorded, and it's going to be recorded across the world, no matter where you go. And even though if you call some other place, the insurance will be lower for a few months, but then it starts creeping up, creeping up, creeping up, and eventually you're stuck paying a higher premium, or eventually they say, hey, we don't even want to deal with you. So all that stuff is being recorded, and it's just, to me, it's just like I'd rather go slow and be safe and use common sense, because you just and I don't know if it's hit me. I mean, obviously, Tony, it sounds like you practice it too. For
Oh,
me, it's
yeah,
different employees. So
yeah. Safety first, man. You get hurt, you don't have a paycheck.
yeah, you lose your finger, or like you said, the paycheck, they're not paying for it. And that the thing is that none of this stuff normally ever works as good, you know, as what you think it's gonna be. Just like with my garage burnt, right? I mean, I was a young kid and I was like, $10,000. That's a lot of money. Well, the lowest bid that came in was $32,000, and I'm like, but I'm covered for 10. And they're saying they'll rebuild it for 32. This doesn't match up. And then the insurance company just goes, sorry about your bad luck. Here's 10,000. Good luck on your ventures. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what? So, and the thing is, a lot of us don't read all the fine print. And, you know, nowadays I couldn't even tell you. Sometimes I think it's almost better to not have insurance, because sometimes if you for us for like dentals, it's like 75 to 120 bucks for cleaning, but if we have insurance, they still whack us for 30 or $60, and then
yeah.
when they bring you the bill, it's like your cleaning was $400, and you're like, how can it be $400 and charging the insurance company? You know what I mean? Like, it's just the stuff is so skewed. You
Yep.
know, I couldn't tell you what weighs up or down.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's no lie, man. They'll get you there. The dentist, whatever, they code it one way or another, and if you have insurance, well, um, here, matter of fact, you want to talk about healthcare? We have this thing. You can go to our hospital and use direct access to get like blood work done. Use your insurance; it'll tell you it's like $500 if it's in your insurance, $45 if you pay out of pocket.
Mm,
It's a no brainer because your deductible is going to be higher than that. So I always
right.
right through that. So insurance is it's kind of a joke.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why when we get, like, for us, and I I was a hothead. I ain't gonna lie. And we used to get a lot of bad storms. Think of miserable. We got 2 foot overnight. I mean, it's just and it's don't be a baby, power through it. And it's like you get out there yourself and you're getting stuck and you're sitting here realizing I got a half of a service call done. What the hell am I doing here? You know what I mean? And then
Wait,
if I call a tow truck, all these things, you're sitting there going, I don't even think I made no money today. And you're going, I lost money driving around, putting my life at risk and other people's and everything else. Or I could have stayed on the couch today and waited for the roads to get cleared up. And the next day it would have been way better. So sometimes it's like, you just don't want to fight Mother Nature. You know what I mean? Because she will win.
you don't know how many times I'll get to a job and I won't have this or I didn't do that. And I hear your voice saying, just slow down a little bit. Sometimes slow down a little bit. And it's like, I gotta go back to the shop.
I'll, I,
Or
I,
get that picture. Get
yeah,
that picture.
yep, yep. I already missed one thing. I should have documented it. I was up by it many times by the springs at that job I'm working, and they got the sticker, the tag on it, and I'm thinking I need to take a picture because it'll be our luck that it won't be long. The spring's gonna break, and then
Uh-huh.
you can send somebody out there with a scissor lift where I could just say, nope, I got a picture of it. I already put it in Jobber. It's already filed. It's on that big door. It's a 20 by 16. We're golden. But I didn't. I missed it. But I did take a picture of the remote because I just had a feeling in the back of my head. I go, they're gonna go. Can we get another remote? And I'm gonna go. I don't know what model that was. Like which, and I want to make sure I got the exact same one. But there's so many things. I had a boo boo the other day, and I was adamant that I got those little. I buy them all the time at Lowe's, little flip things, that you can fit in your pocket. And
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking this one's a very simple little procedure. I'm like, I'm going to get a freaking checklist, just like the pilots do in the goddamn airplane. That when I get in that vehicle, grab that checklist and got this. Yep, got this. Okay, these are major protocols. Okay, we're good. Because I screwed up something the other day, and I was just like, I was like so mad at myself.
You see that I did the other day on the 2 panels of one door, then two of Clopay or Ideal.
I don't think I've seen that.
Well, I stacked these panels in, and I did that. The lady had mentioned, "Hey, the insurance company is going to reimburse me for this." So I took pictures of it before I did it. I took pictures of the panels because next week I'm not going to have those panels; they're going to be gone.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I did that. I prepared for that phone call. Hey, did you ever take any pictures?
Ooh, ooh,
I'm ready. I'm ready. Plus,
smart.
I said, go to my YouTube channel.
And another thing too, like I try to tell guys that are inexperienced because like I'm working with Caleb and I got a couple other guys that have been working. I'm like, if you're nervous, I'm like, I know you normally can't get it, like take a video. You know what I mean? And I don't want you to go broke, but you should definitely buy yourself a medium to a really nice phone and then get a good case for it. But even if you take videos, because what I like about videos is I can always stop the video and I can screen.
Mhm.
So if you're not, because and it doesn't hurt to take pictures as well too, because I've also not hit the record button and gone through something too. I'm like, oh my gosh, So
Yeah.
I'm a person that I go, hey man, I go when I'm laying in bed or I'm sitting on the crapper, I can delete if something's whatever, but I can't go back. I can't
Yeah.
go back. You can, but it's time and gas and everything else. So I take video if I'm unsure. I take side pictures and videos, and I can't tell you how many times I see something and I'm like, "What? Wait a minute, which radius was that? Oh, let me zoom in. Oh yeah, that's 15. We're good. Okay, that's what I ordered or whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I try to stress to a lot of guys that are on your channel and on my channel that I'm like, if you're gonna come with me, pictures, like I'm a very picture person. Send me a picture
That's good.
before use verbiage and this and that because I can see it and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like it registers in my head.
Yeah.
So
And
safety. Let's see here. Rusty's got. I thought about safety. I wouldn't travel to. Was it Haiti? Kevin says, you know, insurance is a scam when they sell gap insurance. Yes, he says, and sell insurance for your insurance. Yeah, well, they're
Right.
all trying to get money. I mean, that's the whole thing, man.
Yeah.
Rich B's got 100%.
That's kind of today on my way to Michigan. I got a phone call. I was just leaving town, and it's a apartment complex that just went up. And they said, we got 5 garage doors, and we've already got one that's messed up. Is there any way you can come out? I said, and they were like 4 minutes away.
Ooh,
Got there. They took me around to the door, and the maintenance man did. They said, you got to come up to the office. The maintenance man will take you where you need to go. I said, okay. I was kind of in a hurry. And I knew what it was. His trolley come back and jammed against the bolt. And it was a new one. It was a
sure.
new I go over there, and he's watching me. Well, he's smoking a cigarette, so he's standing outside of the door. And I get up there and I hit the center button and I back it off, and I start reprogramming it. Had it going like that. He says, What did you do? I said, if I what I did, then you won't be calling me. He kind of smiled. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, look me up on YouTube. He says, oh, I need to YouTube it. I said, better yet, just look me up on YouTube.
Right,
You'll
right.
do it.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
Look,
funny.
he was trying to get me. No, I'm not telling you.
It happens. It happens, man. It happens. That's
I'm
how it
not
goes.
telling you. I lose my job.
That's how it happened with us at Herman Miller. We when our one guy left, and it never registered with me because I was just beginning in the business. And I remember him telling me, he goes, your job must be. I forget how he phrased it, but he said your job must be kind of sad. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, he says, you build relationships with people, and they retire, they move into another position, and I was thinking, I wanted to be like, hey, buddy, you don't know, this is only like my second year in business. I haven't experienced that yet. Like everybody's new.
Yeah.
And then he ended up was one of them that was kind of one of the first ones that he left. And his name was Paul. He was a good dude. And then we got a female, and that was right in that whole 2007, 2008 stuff. And she was putting the whip down, and we ended up same thing. Maintenance guy's got it now. He's got to drive the scissor lift, and I mean we're up in the lift and that man. He's just pounding me with questions. What are you doing with that? What are you doing there? And I kind of mentioned him. Man, I said, what I got to do? Break your kneecaps? I said, you taking my job? Oh no, I'm just really trying to know what's going on. Well, slowly but for surely, we got eliminated.
Yeah.
They have their own maintenance doing it, so
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I knew. I thought, buddy, I'm not telling you. No.
Well, there's that. What is that saying out there? There's something like with plumbers and stuff like that. Like, you know, yeah, it only took you 20 minutes, but you got 20 years of experience. And it makes it look easy.
Yeah. That's what I told him. I said, if you would have got up there and just did what I did, you'd have probably made it worse. Not any offense. You would, if you don't know what you're doing.
Right,
I've had a ton of people say, man, you make that look easy.
right. And he probably, in a
Well,
nutshell, care. It's not coming out of his pocket. You know,
yeah, he didn't. He just kind of chuckled and thought, yeah, he knew.
right. And as a maintenance guy, honestly, it's one of those things too that there is so much information out there now. You could probably muscle your way through something.
He knew right to go to YouTube. He was the one that mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Hey, it's easier for him to sit outside, smoke a cigarette, and watch you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's Rusty got? We got a letter today. Ooh, from the IRS. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Problem with 2022 taxes. Ooh, man, it says our old account filed it under wrong EIN number. Oh no. Uh,
Uh-oh.
now a bunch of paperwork for nothing, and she made us overpay. So getting Rusty,
Uh-oh.
$12,000 refund. Rusty, dude,
Uh,
I want to see proof of that check, or you just let me know that you got it, because I was always told by my accountant, if you send it, you'll never get it back. And we had the same problem. We were doing something wrong, how we were doing it. And it wasn't, I don't think it was 12. It was probably more like 5 or 6 grand. And did we ever see that money? Nope.
Yeah, it
So
was your accountant's name, and he cashed it. He went on vacation.
could have been. Could have been. Well, and I heard it even from my when I took my building class. Um, the guy always said, "You better make sure everything is perfect before you ever send money, because you send it, it doesn't come back." And so when she said, she goes, "Oh, we've been doing it wrong." She goes, "I'm going to send a thing and see if they'll give us a refund." I'm sitting there kind of going, "Yeah, right." You know, like good luck.
All right. Hey, we got 7 people on, 6 likes. Let's see if
Ooh,
we can get it evened up.
there you go.
Let's see.
What's this guy with interest? That sucks though, man. Once you start
Hey,
getting,
there's Evan. Evan's on here.
oh no, we got Evan. Nice.
Evan. He says, "What's up, boys?"
I know Evan's been having the same problem as I have too, Tony. Just so you're aware, we haven't been getting notified. Sometimes the same thing with you. I get notified like way behind when you're doing live. I know
Oh
I
yeah.
get the same thing. Somebody, Evan's smart enough. Evan just needs to make like a Facebook group, and we can go on there and saying, "Hey, going live," and then everybody gets notified or something. I don't know.
I used to ding on my phone with yours when you'd go live.
Uh,
You used to ding and
yeah, I think they stuff changes. That's why I think sometimes people get unsubscribed too. So make sure you're checking your notification that you're subscribed and you got the bell notification on. Because like with Tony's, it was weird. I I actually had the same problem. I was like, why am I not getting notified? So I had to unsubscribe, resubscribe. But it was weird when I did something. I clicked on the bell. It came up like it was almost like I locked into when you must have made a video that was for kids, because said you cannot do a bell notification because this is made for kids. And I'm like, what the hell? So I was like, whatever. So I unsubscribed, resubscribed, and then it was fine. So I was like, I don't know
uh,
why I said that.
I might have done one for kids just to see, trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want any kids on just because I don't think they should be doing it. You know.
Well, they YouTube had a big thing a while back. I remember hearing something that was just they had to classify it because there was just I think it's the way they pay, and then it's just how they direct things too, so kids don't get on maybe some kind of video game types, whatever bad stuff.
Hmm.
So that's why I always just go no kids, no
Yeah,
kids.
I do too. Yeah.
What's up, boys? Evan's got. He says interest rates, any payback if you don't know, overpaid. What's Rusty? I missed it on it. It says no interest, Rich. Just happy to get anything back when you didn't know you overpaid. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, Rusty, man, I want to see that. Show me that check, baby, or just block it out or whatever. Just let me know.
He said he'd send you a photo.
All right, Dave. I'll say. Oh, perfect. Yep, I see it. Accountant filed it under business number before it was LLC. Huh. Rich B's been on Evan for president, man. He's been on this. He's been on this rampage. It's funny because I remember my grandpa, my wife,
Yeah, Rusty, they
smart guy,
first.
and he told me one time he just comes out and he always plants these little seeds, but he come up to me and he goes, "Would you want to be a politician?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Then think about who is." And he walked away. And that's all he said. And and I always think about that, and I'm always like, I still before he passes away one day here, I gotta ask him, what were you trying to explain with that? Like,
You better, because that'll drive you freaking nuts.
I know. It's like, he just walked away, man. He says, "Would you want to be a politician?" I said, "No." And he says, "Well, think about who is then." And he just walked away. So, Dave, this is accountant filed it under. We got the Evan for president. Rich, Canada will be 51st state. So
Yeah, that's
I know
right.
it won't be. See, Evan, we'll all be family.
Yeah,
No more border.
yeah. You get the same price as we do, Evan.
I'd like to hear your guys' comments on that. What do you guys comment in the comments below? What's your feeling? Is that good? Is it bad? I mean, I don't know. Don't I guess I have a hard time believing it's going to happen, but I don't think it's. I can't say it's bad, but if it is, or what you think is going to be bad, then probably
I
just be more trillions of dollars in debt because we have to pay them or something. I don't know. I guess we're already paying
do
some.
Canada. Hey,
Yeah. Canada 51st, absolutely not rich. What's he got here? Evans got. I have a bad potty mouth. Keep the kids out, Rusty. Vouch for that. Smart guy. What Rich has got. Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. I keep hearing. I keep hearing this whole thing. The tariffs. The tariffs. The tariffs. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna. I mean, regardless, we're gonna pay no matter what. I don't know what's gonna. We're paying somehow, baby.
Well, they had tariffs that Biden didn't even that Trump set that Biden didn't even get rid of. He ran them the whole 4 years.
Oh,
So there,
yeah.
it's just a bunch of
I,
ain't gonna be maybe a little cost. Nothing's gonna change too
no,
much.
no. I always think if stuff gets too far out of whack, somebody else is going to divide. Either people are just not going to buy or whatever it is, or somebody else will develop a business quickly that's
Mm.
going to be, hey, we can do it for half the price. So it normally balances, but regardless, inflation's here. I think inflation's going to stay. I don't know how bad it's going to get. If we go into if they start opening the printing press, then it can start getting bad again.
Mm-hmm.
We're looting that money, man. So it's sad how much our money's been diluted.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Uh, What's Evan got? If we don't get a new government this year, I'm okay joining joining the U.S. Yeah, it's really funny to me that Trudeau. Something just smells really suspicious with that. I don't know, with him stepping down. It just smells real funny to me. I
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if Mr. T had to talk to him and said, "I'm gonna kick your hiney" type of, or I mean, you know what I mean. We just don't normally see people standing down, in that role,
Yeah.
in those roles. So Tony, you got the vans running good. Everything's running good now. The truck and everything.
No.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
the the red. Well, I was having the same time the van. I had to get it worked on. I hopped in my red truck. That's the newest vehicle I have, and I kept smelling like burnt oil.
Ooh,
And I smelled it inside the truck, not outside the truck.
that's weird.
I'm like, what the hell? Well, what it is, the valve cover gasket's leaking, and it's right by the cool air intake,
Oh, yep.
right in. Um, but then that's why I went to this. I was telling you, I went to that job. Ended up being, I didn't make anything because I'm doing it for my maintenance or my mechanic. We're doing
Right,
labor for labor.
right.
Now I've got the labor covered. I just got to buy the parts and
Yep.
take care of it for me.
So how far was that away for your travel one way? I'm just curious. 2 hours,
It was a good hike. No, it was an hour and 10 minutes
hour 10. Okay.
one way.
Yeah, I got I got one. We got a gate that got hit, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna orchestrate that. I
Mm.
mean, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I tell you what, I know there's other businesses of plumbing and stuff like that, but man, there is a lot of variables. You know what I mean? Like, especially like, and it's probably for us more or less because we do the gates and we also do the openers and garage doors. But man, I tell you, there's just so many pieces that if you forget one, I know one of the guys was out the other day, and he came back and it's like, what are you doing back? And it's like, well, Wayne Dalton forgot the top bracket, the flag, and it's like, they're still doing that. Yeah, they forgot that, and it's like, goodness. And of course, his truck's in for maintenance, so his truck. He's like, I know I got some of mine. Looking around, he stole another piece of track to make it work that's already built on. But I just, you know, not running with a full service vehicle. I can see why you just need a huge service vehicle. This job I was at, hey, I brought plenty of spray lube, but got up there, everything's so big, it's got those bearings that got grease zerks on them. So it's like, oh, so we're at a maintenance place. I'm thinking, I'm going to ask. So I do. I asked the guy. He's got the same exact grease gun I got. I got a Milwaukee electric one. Works great. The problem was it's in the back of his truck. It's frozen. So I go up there. It's just not working. Worth a poop. And so now we got to let it warm up. Then I use it again. I'm not getting it on there quite right. I think it's out of grease. He's checking it. It's not out of grease. We're just not on the Zerk. And I'm just like, I'm fascinated every time when I'm working with garage doors. I just go, goodness. I go, there's just so many variables that, and I'm looking at this job just going, all these things, the chain popped on me after I got everything fixed. I had to re-spreader bar everything. I mean, it's going to be an interesting video. I was so mad. I really wanted to. I think I know how we can do it. I think if I put an inch, a 2x4, not 2x4, but 2x6, a couple of them, I think it spaces out just enough and I could direct couple the LiftMaster. But I'm there with Tanner. I don't want to make it go too fast. But it was kind of a bummer that half horsepower going to the 1 horsepower. All that really changed was the motor. The rest of the stuff looks pretty much the same. And I was just like it's got those brass bearings, and I'm thinking, dude, I need roller bearings. Like I got so much pressure on that chain, and the sprockets they're not massive where the chain's got a lot of wrap. And I'm just like, oh, and after I did all that work, and we go to set those remotes, and he bounced the door. I heard it. I heard the pop, pop. I went, oh my gosh. He gives me the remote back, and he goes, I'm gonna let you keep breaking. He goes, I don't know what I did, and I said, oh, I know what happened. I said the chain came loose. I said it's so. I had to go back up there. I found out where the give point was, and I'm just like, and like I said, this thing's 20x16, dude. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. It's massive. I'm just like, I don't even think this is enough motor. It's not engineered right. Something, and if it was just direct couple, I'd rather the give be in the clutch. I had to slam the clutch all the way down. I was like, I'd rather have the give be in the motor almost a little bit when it fires up. But that one I could have definitely direct couple and not felt bad about it. But I wasn't the original installer. There was wires and stuff in the way. There's conduit. So I dealt with it.
That's like a nightmare.
Oh, it was. It just took so much time.
Yeah.
What's he got? Evan, explain how all cars in Canada don't use oil, he says, but maple syrup instead. That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. That is the way to do it. So I think we're going to be moving forward too over on this end. We're going to be doing we are going to rent out a scissor lift here soon. So our one's going to go away.
Mm.
The one's just getting the platform's real hard to get out. It's due. It's pretty old. You can't drive it when it's up, which I think is a big safety, because I know I've done it before, when you're doing springs and you got to walk the springs out, and if the lifts don't move, what do? You know what I mean? You got to go down, then move. Yeah, right. The spring's up and they're already half off. You know what I mean? What you do, you end up dragging it out or leaning over the lift real hardcore. So that's going to be for a 20. What was that? 20 by 32. 2032. 20 high, 32 wide, 32 inches wide. That's going to be $461 a month. So I think we're going to at least do it until at least weather's better. We'll see if we want to keep entertaining it or buy. But I'm really nervous. Tanner said there was something out there about new safeties that make them so they won't lift. I'm hoping that maybe if it's that big a problem, a little unplug will bypass. I'm happy to hear at least they're going to give us a Genie lift. I have really good luck with Genie lifts, man. That's this job we were at. When you're 26 feet up in there, you don't want no herky jerky, and I can just throttle that thing where it just creeps. You know what I mean? And that's that other lift we got. That what is that one? A JLB or something? I don't remember what that one is, but that one, man, is just. I mean, you could be halfway up in there, and it's like, I don't think this thing's right. It shouldn't jerk this hard. This ain't safe.
Yeah, mine you can. It'll start beep 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 like when it's unbalanced.
Yep.
Yesterday I was on it and it started beeping and I went back over here. I kind of jerked it back over and I went down as quick as I could. It was like, oh shit. I had my truck in there. It kind of leaned toward my truck. I was like, oh shit. Don't fall on my truck. I got to run and grab my charger cable.
Go for it. Let's see what's in the old comments here. Rusty's guy says, I want to buy a scissor lift very soon. Rusty, I thought you guys had a scissor lift. He says, I want to buy a scissor lift very soon. Are there any brands to stay away from? 461 to lease. He says, I'm thinking about spending 5 to 7 and buying used. So great question, Rusty. As always. So so here's my theory, right? We've done it before, and it is a lease basically. I think it's for a year. I asked them about the lease. They didn't make it sound like they were like to rent. And I'm like, yeah, like for like a lease to rent. They were just like all they wanted. They kept saying it was to rent. So they had it broke down. Here's for 2 days. Here's for a week. Here's for a month. And so obviously we're doing like the month. I think they had even had just for a year. I think the year. I don't know what the total was on that one. I have to look. But basically comes down to it's 461. Now here's what and it's different for everybody, right? Sure, buying one, but here's the thing: what I don't want to happen. we are ramping up. We got a couple more people probably going to be coming on. We are going to be short staffed. So what I don't want is you turn into a mechanic. And scissor lifts are very complex. They can be when they're running. But if they start blowing out hydraulic lines, and I've had this happen at least once, right? Was it once? Yeah, I bought the snorkel. Snorkel? Upright. No, it was an upright. Bought it used from a rental place. It was used. You know what I mean? And it was $4,000 back in the day. Had to change batteries in it one time. Batteries are expensive. And in that one, the problem is you're playing the guessing game. You're, like, is it the batteries? Is it the charger? Maybe the batteries are okay. And then you got to check all the, you're always checking the water level and stuff. It's your baby, right? That's your baby. You know how it is. When you rent, you just use it. If there's a problem, you call them, you drop it off, they'll give you a new one, they send somebody out. Um, Nobody here. We had one time on that one upright. One of the guys took in the hose. For whatever reason, they weren't getting the hose routed right or something right. Well, when they come down, they pinch it and it'd be spraying hydraulic fluid. So that was one big issue. Another was the second time I bought one. Like I should have known, but the guy was like, "Hey, let me it was on gravel, and he kind of acted like, let me, I'll fork it on there for you." And I thought, well, it's on the ramp, I'll just drive it up. Well, I should have used that as an indication. The reason he didn't want me to drive it up that lift or up that ramp was because he ended up, what was going on is the batteries weren't the best condition. So it was working when I got it, but then I realized it needed batteries. So now I already spent, $5,600 or something like that. Now I got to put batteries in this darn thing. So now I got to haul these things, transport these things on a maintenance guy. Then I ended up, it left us stranded at a car dealership. The actually, what was it? The charger went bad. So the batteries went dead for some reason. The charger wasn't working. I'm driving around like a maniac, looking through Facebook Marketplace. Come to find out that I did the research and they work the same as a golf cart, a 46-volt golf cart. So I'm finding somebody with this battery. I get there. It's a trailer park. Somebody's pulling it out of a shed, and I'm like holding this little thing, and I'm like, look, does this thing work? Does this thing work? This work? Because we got guys waiting right now. So I think for now, especially with our winters and salt, this one gets heavy salt on it behind the vehicles. We're just going to do the rent for right now, because I don't want to have a. If I could lease for a very fair price the vehicles, I would do the same. Because one thing I've learned in business, at least for us, is that fixed cost. Fixed cost is easy, but when you blow a transmission out, or you're sitting there with the wife or whoever, and you're going, well, it's $4,000 for a transmission, or 6 or 8,000. Do we take that money and we could invest it into? We could have made this many payments on a new, and you know how this always works. It seems like by the time you always put that 4 to 6 to 8,000 into that vehicle, something else goes out now, and you're like, I'm $12,000 deep in this thing. Where does it stop? So you know, unfortunately, I haven't found nothing yet. I've tried looking at the Enterprise. They're not quite there. The numbers were still on the higher, where it still seemed better just to buy a brand new, and you can outfit it the way you want it, and you're kind of in control. But like I said, it all depends. Like at this job that we were just at, I mean, this place is only 3 years old, big boy stuff, and even our kind of newer scissor lift felt like it was underclass. Like I just kept thinking, I'm like looking at the joystick, going, "Please don't die. This would not be the time." And we actually got done with the last, like the last push up, and the darn thing ran out of juice. Now we used the hell out of it, so I didn't feel bad or think it was unworthy of it. But I let Caleb run it, and he's doing it right. And first thing we get halfway up, and he's like looking back at me like, "Is this?" And I'm like, what did you do? Like, it's been working fine for me. I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, I think it's out of battery. And I'm like, no way in hell. I just jumped off that joystick. And I'm like, oh, let's look. Look, holy crap! It's only got one bar. Like, we got to make one more up over to the opener, turn the power back on. So it's like we do the halfway down thing, and now it's like let's drive over there while we're like hanging on for dear life, you know. And of course, this building right has the grates right by the garage door, so
Oh,
it's so the lift doesn't like the you know.
man. Mm.
So like I said, for us, like I said, it's just something to consider. You might want to call around. I never knew that they even offered something for such a good price because we used to use a local place for our rental of scissor lifts, and they were all of like $200 a day. That was it. It was like $200 a day. You did it for a week. They knocked a little bit, but when I found a bigger company and I heard it was only four, I'm like, what? I'm like, how much? Only 400? Like what? And I think even for the 26 foot, it was six and some change for that one. That one's up there a little bit more where I kind of go, for that price, I might just purchase one.
You
So,
keep yours inside or
so the big one has its own shelter.
okay.
So we shelter made for it. Some of the complaints said some of the guys say moisture gets in there,
Yeah.
like the hot and the cold on the tin. But it keeps, and so a lot of guys don't like pulling it because it catches the wind too.
Mm.
Uh, but no, they all stay out, and then we got basically an extension cord that's out there for both of them that they stay plugged in, and that's why one that we're going to rent. I'm kind of going. I feel more willing to do that because that one's going to see the salt, and that's what's happened to this one. It's it's just rusty and nasty, and it needs tires, and then the problem is too is that these scissor lifts. What I've learned over the years is a lot of the places we go to, like we got to be certified. We got to have them. They got to be painted correctly. They got to have stickers correctly. They're supposed to have the right tires. So I mean, we got
Mm.
to kind of be on top of that. We can't just. We don't have like some of our DPWs that they don't care. They're just like, hey, you got a scissor lift? Awesome. You're not using a ladder? Cool, good for you. But other places it's like, uh this you probably should just use ours. And then it turns into, are you certified? You got this certificate? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, yeah, okay, we do. And then
Walmart
somebody
Walmart
for
won't
you.
let you they won't let you drive their scissor lift.
Right,
You
right.
have an employee with you and I'm like, I'm winding a spring. Do
I
you know
know.
how dangerous this is?
I know. I know. Exactly. So it's just, and Rusty just experienced it. I know he was telling me he went to a job, and I guess we were having this conversation about customer was going to provide the lift. Of course, he gets out there, the lift's not charged, it's not functioning properly, and it's like, ah, and you
No.
scheduled it. It's like that's a nightmare, man. So it's just like, and I've tried it. We used to we rented one for quite a while, and then it just got to the point. The problem was all the time going and picking it up, bringing it back. Their trailer really sucked. So if you got any little bit of snow or rain, the damn thing would not make it up it. So and of course you know how it is. You're always it's 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. You're trying to load that thing up. You just went through you're always in that teeter spot, right, with the job. You're like, if I just stay another hour, I can wrap this up, and because tomorrow I got this, so I want to get this done. And you're the guy out there with a joystick trying to push the lift up, and you're like crying to yourself, I hate my life. You know,
I left mine out the other day. It rained. Well, then I get to the job and you push on mine, you push down on a button and you squeeze in on the other to lift you up.
okay.
I couldn't get the damn thing to I couldn't push it in. It was frozen. I was like, oh, I'm never this out again. But I used it and then I wasn't going to use it for a day. And then I wasn't going to, I didn't want to load it, unload it.
So I know one of our I call him competitor, but he's a friend that runs a garage door business. I noticed on he's actually got a cover, like a little tonneau cover that goes
Oh,
over, and it goes down the rails and everything down a ways. I'm gonna see. I might, if I think of it, I'm gonna ask them if they even sell anything like that or can get something because, sometimes just nice, like you said, the controller, the
Yeah,
platform slippery. I mean, we've had snow on there that sucks. You're trying to do your job. You got water up there. You got
it'd
parts
be
in it.
nice something that slid right over it.
That's how his was.
Yeah,
So
mine's not very big.
right,
Mine's
right.
pretty big.
Yeah.
That
So I think it'd be pretty easy. I think they honestly, I think they sell them online. I think you can buy them. I think they're kind of getting available. But I'm going to make sure I ask if we go over there. The guy, the last part, where just said, "Well, what do you want to do for a start date?" And I was just going to tell him whatever works for your billing cycle. You just want me to do beginning of February? Let's just do that, or end of January. Like we'll get something going. Let's see here.
where
Uh,
you,
Rusty's got. He says to buy one 4 6 lease. I'm thinking about spending 5 to 7 and buying used. Genie lifts are. Rich says that I really think the genies are. I really think the genies. The place we rent them from too. The guy, the mechanic, said that the genies were the easiest to work on as well. So, but I just been really happy. Some guys I know. I think Tanner he likes the other brand. Um, but genies. The reason I really like genies is their controllers are always very gentle. And that's what I've always liked. The other ones, other brands always seem real herky jerky. It's like sometimes it's all or nothing. It doesn't
yeah,
even matter if you feather it. You know,
mine does really good. It's real, it's got a good
gentle.
choice. Yeah, because I don't want jerky. You ever
No,
been with air tires?
what is it? Air tires? Oh
Air,
no, I can't say I have.
oh yeah, I was on one. I videoed it too. Me on it.
But
I mean, I was up there. I was working on the springs, and that thing just rocked.
oh,
And this ain't no freaking way. Air-
have you ever been on one of the old school ones that's just got like the single arm? It does like a telescoping arm. It's just one arm. So like when the platform goes up, it always tilts. It feels
Uh,
like it's kick you out.
yeah, no.
Our builder had one. They had two of them, and every time you'd go to lift up on it, the whole platform would tilt, and you felt like you're like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna throw me out of here. And then it would go. Brrr.
That
They were,
feels like a pork truck. I've been in those. And got,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, dude, easy.
So Rich has got the genie lifts are the best. Let me see. Rusty says, Rich, would you buy from Facebook Marketplace or dealer only? Ooh, that's a good question. Not sure what to inspect on a used lift. Ooh,
I
that's
bought mine off of Facebook Marketplace, but I bought it through, is it Callister?
okay.
It was
So
it was a rental, and all I've had to do to it is I put new bearings in. It had good tires on it. Hell, the batteries are awesome. I rarely charge it.
I had two experiences, so I can I can put a little information in this one. The one I bought basically off Facebook. That one I had a bad experience. Like I said, the guy was on gravel. He rebuilds them and stuff. I think he's
Uh,
taken part. Anyways, the batteries weren't good. He was even when I got on the ramp, I said, well, I can drive it up. Like it should drive up on that. And I should have told him I should have said stop. Like I want to see it drive up this thing. I want to make sure it can go up this ramp.
yeah,
And oh no, I can just fork it on there for you. And I'm thinking, he's already got it in the forks, whatever, go ahead. And we lifted it and stuff. I lifted it, which was fine. But as I got it, and I noticed within about a week, I was like, these batteries are not doing so good. And so you're playing this questioning game. Are the batteries, or is it just me? Is it the lift? So I replaced the batteries. It was better, but it sucked that I spent whatever $1,200 now on batteries. And the worst part is my time, because when you're running a business, you don't got much time. So I'm fixing this. Well, then the second round, the bigger lift that we have, I actually bought that from our big company that rents them. And to this day, we still don't really know, but when we got it, it would go up, but it seemed kind of underpowered in the lift, in the basket. Now, I remember this after the fact, after I bought it, didn't ask before I bought it. When I was gonna buy a brand new one. I was dealing with a rep. I don't know. He does 3 states or something like that. But he in his email he asked me. He says, "Do you want the 350 pound or do you want the 500 pound lift capacity?" I think when we bought ours, the one from the big rental company, I don't know. It could have been a 350 because when it go up, it just seemed like it never had power. Even to this day, when we got two guys, one 6-inch spring in there, sometimes we're doing like we're climbing the door to help it up. So I don't know for sure to this day, but that's one of those parts where I kind of like I'm almost thinking about asking them when I rent this one out. I'm thinking about asking them and saying like, okay, like give me some specs on this. So because I already asked him about that, and he says it's going to be. He says all of ours have the 500-pound capacity. Good. He says what I want to ask him though is what's the price tag you value this thing at right now, and then as we pay, and we go, we like this lift. This lift works really good. Maybe a year later or something, if we call them and say, hey, would you sell this lift to us? Well, yeah, we got it. We'd like to replenish or sell. And they give me a price, and I can look at that and go, oh hell no, like you're way out of the ballpark, or no, that's pretty fair. How about we just write you a check, and we'll pay this thing off. And now we have all the research. We know this lift. We know it inside out. We like it, the lift capacity. Because right now, if we rent it, and 2 months or whatever in, we're like, this thing is nothing but hunk of junk, or it ain't working. Give us another one. So that's kind of where, and I'm not a lift expert by any means, but I definitely know there's some things to look out for. So I bought them off Marketplace. I've been burned. I bought them from the big guys, kind of been burned. I replaced the batteries in that one. It helped, but what did it make it great? Eh, so it's kind of one of those, and it's hard spending that much money. And then now you don't have something that works for you out in the field, because that's like,
Oh yeah.
maybe if you're a DeWalt guy and now you went to Ryobi, it's just like you're like, God darn it, I want
That
my
I worry. Spending like $2,500, and I was worried. Now I got to still be climbing a ladder.
right, right, exactly,
I'm
exactly.
buying something used, but hey, knock on wood, mine's been really good.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Good.
Gee, let's see what the comments. Rich, would you buy? He says no, Dave. We rent every time. I'm curious too, Rusty. If you can put it in there too, what do you pay for rent? Just on a day rate, or what's the week rate, or a couple days? I'm just curious. Evan says it's a copyright infringement if we start selling scissor lifts and call them Liftmaster. They'll probably shut you down somehow. Who knows? I would lease them, take care of maintenance, plus can write off lease on taxes. That's true. That's true. That's true. You cannot. Rusty says you can't write it off. Yeah, you probably can't. Maybe can't do a tax deduction, but you could just. It's just a payment. It's debt or not debt, but it's just you pay for it. Um, if I bought it, he said I think I could depreciate it. Not sure exactly.
I
So
rent I,
two.
the company.
What's that?
Tony rents it to Tony's garage door.
Ah,
Because I used to go out and pay $350 for a day for a.
right.
And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to rent it to myself. I have a rental company, a rental home, so I just run it through that.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. There's different ways you can
Yeah.
do it, and then
Same
uh,
what same thing with my building. I rent my building to myself.
right. Right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Appreciate it. It says how many did you appreciate it? I could appreciate it. Sure, exactly. Rusty's got how many hours on scissor lift is too many. Yeah, I think 10 years is too old.
Yeah.
So, so what I've kind of noticed, this is just my assumption. I've kind of noticed that these rental companies, it seems like around the 3 to 4 year mark, they seem to unload them.
Yeah.
And that's about, I think, when the batteries are about ready to go kapoof on them because they don't want to dump $1,200 or more. I don't even know what the batteries are nowadays. So that's when they start kind of unloading them. So that's something you got to consider too. So if it's like you're buying that car with 120,000 miles on it, it's right in that weird, is it going to blow a transmission? Is it going to stay running to 300,000? It's hard to say.
Like McAllister, they had mine came with a like a maintenance program. I've seen what was done to it.
Oh,
I was able to pick. Well, they had multiple, and
oh,
I kind of picked and choose the one I wanted.
Sure.
It was a gamble, but just
Yeah.
a guy that did the work, and just,
Yeah.
hey man, be honest with me.
Right.
You
Right.
work here, you don't,
Right.
own it, and
And that's why, like I said, I'm hoping we can just do a rent one, and maybe we could purchase it down the road if we want to. But I can forecast what's going to happen right now. I can see with the crystal ball that I'm going. We're running behind on labor. The last thing is I need myself, one of the other guys, trying to crank a wrench on this thing, and then trying to go find parts for it. Or like when I can't explain, I can't remember exactly what happened, but I had one hell of a time trying to find the battery charger for that unit. It was ranging from like $300 to $400 all the way to like $2,400. And so, I mean, I am just spending countless hours at night looking at like, okay, what's the specs on this one? Is this a knockoff from China? Why are we on such different levels here
yeah,
for pricing? You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, well, I don't want to spend $400 to $600, and the damn thing just doesn't work at all.
yeah,
You know, but I really don't want to spend $2,400 or whatever. Like I mean, and I'm just going, my God, I am not a scissor lift expert. I ain't got time for this crap. I got to worry about the next job tomorrow and how I'm going to orchestrate and how I'm going to get all the parts and materials there and who's going to do what in the weather conditions. The hell with this. Like,
yeah. For me, if I was to buy again, for me, being my own, I don't have any employees, I would probably buy new. If I had employees,
yeah,
because I've been an employee,
right.
I would probably rent one.
Yeah,
They're not.
that's why I think it's just a better, you know, it's not a ton. It is money, but
Yeah,
for us, we go in such different demographics. Sometimes we're in that building that's like, I mean, you could be driving a 1950s car that's all rotted out, and they could care less. They wouldn't even think twice. Then we go into these places that's lit, beautiful, brand new, and it's like, yeah, this lift really does not belong here. Like this is like, you know,
rough.
geez, can't you guys afford a nicer scissor lift? Like this thing's got like rust stains on my new concrete. So and then the problem is too is employees because safety. I know there was a company that years back that got in trouble because the dead man switch wasn't working, pinned a guy up against the ceiling, big lawsuit, company almost folded. um so that's why, like, when I went in there, and I remember the one I had they were working on, and they went through that list. They go, it needs new tires, and I'm like, the tires are fine. Nope, it needs new tires, it needs to be painted, it needs stickers, it needs. And I mean, they're going through and they're telling me the price. It's like $6,000, and I'm sitting there going, but I paid like $4,000 for this thing. I'm going like, this doesn't. But then here's the problem. It's like that homeowners type thing, right? When you sell a house, now I know. So if something happens to somebody or something, and I know about it, it's that weird,
Yeah,
like you knew that wasn't safe. You knew it didn't have that safety sensor because our old one, they had quite a few sensors that were taken off of it. Another one, I remember, I don't remember what went wrong with this. I'll walk out here and take a look, but this joystick went bad, and I ended up we it was like I got we did all the research. We got a new joystick, and the guys were still complaining about like, well, it still does. We must have a Skyjack. So here's another part. This is like three, four, six, $800 for the controller, and so the reason this one stays is because we don't know if we fixed the problem. It still like acts the same. Like it fixed it, but didn't fix it. So it's like this guy still hangs around for God only knows what reason, taking up space. you know so it's just one of those things. It's like, what do you got your switches and all that gas, and I don't remember if the gauge or something wasn't working. So I don't know. Like I said, I got spanked. I told myself I'm not a lift master, or not a lift master, but I'm not a scissor
yeah,
lift tech, and I don't want to be. They're expensive. I don't know all the ins and outs like I do with garage doors and what I can cheat with, and so it's just forget about it. I'll just rent the rented one. You don't feel so bad because here's another thing. Well, I was just thinking about when I was at that big job. I'm parking the scissor lift. We're charging it, right? And I hear some guy in the background, just off chance, mention that he goes, working on these they work on big semis and trucks. He goes, we really need a scissor lift. And I'm thinking in my head going, they're probably going to use ours while we're gone, while this thing's sitting here. And every day I came in, I kept waiting to see the scissor lift. And then it turns into like, you know, as a business owner, your brain goes to like, hey man, like every cycle up and down on that is wearing that part out, that's cylinders. But if I'm renting it, hey man, don't abuse it. You know what I mean? But it's a rental. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like help yourself. You know what I mean? If you break the joystick and it was just they're gonna take care of it. Blows a hydraulic line, they're gonna take care of it. It happens. But if it's on, your machine, you're sitting there like, well, can we use it? Now don't get me wrong, I won't be a total prick, but well, can we use it for 2 days?
Hmm.
What, not pay nothing? Like, like I don't think so. Yeah. And another thing I thought about doing, I don't know if I'm going to, because I just normally don't have that kind of time, a way to offset it. I thought about what about after hours or weekends, possibly renting it because there's people that do barns and stuff. They want to put up drywall, put it for $200 for a weekend, $100 a day or something.
Yeah.
That, so you got to drive it over and all that, but it kind of offsets that, that price.
Yeah. I got a buddy, he's got Skylift, and that's what they do. They rent it.
Yep.
Just set it.
Just an idea.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got here? I appreciate how many hours. Hours are counted as soon as the key is turned. Morgan, we got Morgan here. Says I hate borrowing lifts. It's brutal when they are bad. He says I was and learned. He says I was in one that learned a ton. I vowed to avoid borrowing all costs besides from other local guys. He says I know care for their gear.
Yeah.
So I remember just a little to recap on that a little bit. When we used to work for Menards, Menards was the worst. Menards would never pay us for our scissor lift. We put it on there as a rental, scissor lift. Oh no, they won't pay that. Nope, we got our own lifts. Well, if you ever been to Menards, they got those little things they stand on with it looks like a springboard or whatever you want to call it for. They stand on it, they wheel around, they got their little harness on.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we had to use. Well, the problem with that is that damn rack hits the ceiling, so you can't get up high enough. So now you got to stand on this with a harness, putting big springs up above your head. So what we would do to combat that, we would literally have to go there, waste time. I'd be with a guy, and I'd be like, dude, eat your lunch. Dude, you want to have a cigarette? Go have a cigarette. You know what I mean? Because we need to pack on like 2 hours. Because Menards is good too. They want you to clock in and clock out. They write, you write in their little sheet thing. So I had to pad on like 2 hours just to cover my scissor lift. So it was like we get paid to be here. So we just took our lovely time because they would never pay us for a scissor lift because we had to bring a scissor lift. And so just something to think about.
I wouldn't be doing any work for Menards.
Yeah, we don't anymore. They buy all their stuff. They buy springs and openers. And the one time the door that would break springs within 3 years, their number 10 door, they ended up what did they do? Oh, they got an MJ versus a J. There wasn't originally a J up there. They burnt that one up. And then we go to show up, do the job, got it all scheduled right, and get there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, why do you guys have this MJ? Well, that's what we thought. And I was like,
mm-hmm.
We were in the moment. They really needed the door. I said, I'll put it up there. I said, but you cannot leave this up there. I said, this thing is going to just burn out in 6 months. So we ended up going back, doing a J form when they got the right one. Rusty's got exactly, Morgan. After last week's customer lift that wasn't working, it wasted my day. I will buy one now. Yeah, it's a pain when you're trying to use somebody else. It's convenient, but it's also like you almost another thing. Maybe you got to get pictures so you can diagnose and go, yeah, I ain't using that lift, or something. Ritchie Brothers auction.
Yeah,
there you go. Thanks, Rich. Morgan, buying is the best option in my opinion. He says I will likely buy used first. He says, but new isn't out with all these Sinisters selling. Was it selling stubs?
Something
on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I said. It's everybody's got a different. I've purchased them. We're gonna go back to like I said because for me, I have limited amount of time. We have a limited amount of employees. We just don't got time for anything. Like I said, and hey, the lifts we've had ran good for years now. So I mean, if you buy one, you get it good, it might last.
Mm-hmm.
When you store or leave it, make sure you take the controller with or lock it. Oh, and game box. That's not a bad idea. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, that is a great idea.
Yeah. Tony, do you have different LLC? Ooh, that's a good one, Tony.
Um, for the other interesting one, I lost it.
What?
Yeah, I would. Funny thing, I lost it like 6 years. Didn't know it. Been paying taxes. Been running under that LLC for 6 years. The
Huh.
Ever said anything to me until my went and ran it. When I started paying somebody to do it,
Yeah.
they ran it and they said, "You never did your minutes."
Hmm.
I went through a divorce. My wife always handled that.
Sure.
I didn't know. And
Right.
you ain't been doing your minutes. You lost that like 8 years ago. I'm like, what?
Oh no.
Yeah. I still got checks that I'm still under that LLC.
Dang. Dang.
I got to get a lawyer and get my houses out of it because, yeah, I mean, it's weird how that stuff works. That if you don't do your minutes, anybody can take your name off as my LLC.
But what is it set up? I mean, isn't that more for a corporation? You got to do your minutes versus. I thought. I mean, because you got what you're a sole proprietor. You got your S corp. You got your C
For
corp.
my business here, I got to do minutes every year.
Really?
Yeah, at
And that's
least
just is that a sole proprietor LLC?
LLC. Yeah,
Whoa,
yeah.
that's interesting.
I know because that's what I said. How? Because I lost. It was TNT Property Group was the
Sure.
company LLC. And
Hmm.
yeah, I've been running under that. I got it cleared up because somebody else down around Indy has it now. Hey,
Jeez. Gosh. All
my
these things.
lawyer, hey, if you ever die, that could get nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
I.
what?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
don't die.
I know. I got
uh,
yeah, but I will have another one day.
right.
I do
Right.
I lost it.
Dang.
I do my minutes and didn't know anything about it.
That's the first time I ever heard about that.
And
So might have to
this,
look into
I do it every year for this LLC.
that. Good idea.
And I'm going to.
Uh, I never heard of that. I never even heard a glimpse of that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I did. I lost at least Indiana. I don't know if every state's different or what. I don't know much on that stuff.
Right. Right.
And accountant, they're the ones that were telling me.
Yeah, but you know how accountants are. It's like that whole saying, right? Nobody takes better care of you than you.
Yeah,
And so they put the stuff in there sometimes, but even when you ask them, they never like fully divulge and say, "Oh well, you should do this." Or they normally all they do is hitting you all the time, going, "Did you document it? Where's your receipts?" You know,
yeah. That's all they. Oh, where?
right,
Yeah, here, right here, right here.
right. I go into a lot of them. I feel like I'm smarter than them sometimes. Like I'll ask them, like what was the one that we never were supposed to have to pay income, work, income for your
Hmm.
pay stub, and I said, that was back in the war days, this and that. And that was never, they look at me like, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to contest it because I'm not going to go against IRS. I mean, they got unlimited resources, at their
Yeah,
disposal.
yeah.
I thought about doing that too. Evan's got changed my name again. Should be first, last, was it be the last time? Oh, whatever. I doubt it. Evans Garage Tour Service. All right. Do you have to take a course before getting certified to use a lift? There's kind of ways you can kind of work your way around it. Um, I know,
I,
like the place that we rent, they will give you a course. Um, if you want, and workers. So you anywhere that sells scissor lifts, like a bigger, like this one's. I don't know if anybody else has this. I think it's Herc, HERC or something like that. It's almost like Hertz, but not Hurt. It's Herc. They got bought out. It used to be Cloverdale for us. I think Cloverdale is only really locally, maybe in this state, maybe one or two other ones, but Herc now is the one that is the big company that bought them. Da, 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 da. Evan, is that your name on Facebook too? He says, yeah. Nice. Kevin, Evan, 20 years. I've been asked to see certificate. As long as you look like you know what you're doing,
No,
nobody. I kind of agree with that. I
I
mean,
don't care.
you know, it's one of those things like when they ask, you just go, yep.
Yeah, keep driving. Don't let off that joystick.
Right. And then, you know, you can, the thing is most people, you can print all this stuff offline. You know
Mm,
what I mean? You can get all the crap and you can
yeah,
fill it out or do something or whatever.
yeah,
The big thing is obviously if you don't feel comfortable like driving a piece of machinery or whatever it is, then don't do it.
right. You don't want to be taking
I,
out a water line or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a Sky. Like I haven't been on a Skyjack in a while. You know, so when I was at a job, I told Cam, I said, "Man, I said you drive it." I said, You've been running it." I said, "It's gonna take me like 5 minutes to relearn the joystick and crap." And I said, I don't want to mess with that." But
Yeah,
when it comes to scissor lifts, there isn't really much out there anymore that it will. You know, once you jump on so many of them, you learn the buttons and what they do and how to make them work. And if not, somebody in 2 seconds will tell you, "Hey, flip the switch," and you're on your way. The big thing is always, I was telling even Caleb, I said, "You always got to get the ass where you want it." So that's what always was taught. Get
yeah,
the ass where you want it first, then worry about the front's easy. Don't just drive. I said, just get the ass where you want it first, then the rest of it's
yeah.
easier. What's he got here? Look what 20 says. Yes, we have to maintenance meetings with all owners, mom, dad, and brother once a year. Damn,
Yeah.
I've never heard about this.
Oh, yeah. I
Damn,
didn't know
man,
on my other business. I didn't know that.
hell
I
no.
lost it. Lost the name. I mean,
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. There's so many things. It's just like when they change zones on you when you own property. You know, there's always so much crap behind. You know, it's just like what's the new one out that they deem now the bio, right? Isn't that what it's called, the bio? The federal government wanted you to fill out, um, saying that you're this business, and they're going to fine you $500 a day if you don't do it. And then now they said it's unconstitutional, so right now it's kind of hung up in court. It's like, what else? You
yeah.
know, I mean, like they can't find us. Come on. Certificate bends on job site. So skyjacks are always backwards on lift. Ooh, that probably makes sense because I know there's always the one I get into that I'm always like, which way do I go? Like, you
Yeah.
know, always kind of screws with me.
Yeah. Just go slow.
That's right. Go slow.
You
Uh,
barely move it. It could take off.
oh yeah,
Be into the door like that.
that's. Oh, you know what? That's a good one, Tony. I should tell you about. I remember one time I was working with my buddy. This one had some weird pivoting arms that would pivot out a little bit. I don't know, about six, yeah, probably more like a foot. Every time you go up in the lift, it has some weird. I forget how they worked. If they were like two pivots,
Uh huh.
they'd pivot out, right? And I remember him telling me, he says, "Hey man," he goes, "don't get too close to the door because you'll punch a hole in it." Well, guess what this guy did? Brand new door we're stacking. I get close, I go up, all of a sudden, pop! I hear it. Oh no! You know, and I'm just thinking, why did you ever give me this lift to use? This thing is, whoever designed this is the stupidest idea I've ever
Yeah.
seen. Yeah.
Yeah. I always get like that far from the door. I'm
Yeah.
right. You know,
Yeah. I do too.
that way I can set them in place, or whatever.
Well, it's like that water line. Um, Same thing, that water line I was working that was right behind me. You know, I left in case we're bouncing. I mean, I don't want to break a sprinkler off.
Oh, no.
I'm still confused. What's these minutes we are talking about? Maybe Tony can shed a little light on that.
Um, at the end of the year, or is it the beginning? I don't know. Once a year, you hold
Yeah.
a meeting. Like for myself, I have to hold a meeting for myself and tell myself, okay, this year I put up a building, you know, blah 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 blah, and then okay, next year this is what we're planning to do. This is what we're planning to make. This blah, blah, blah. Just it's stupid.
I
Basically writing down stuff that you did or what you're going to be doing in the future. Uh, it's probably just hack stuff. I don't know. I don't know. That-
they probably, you know what it is? They probably want to know what you're doing.
You're
What are
playing.
you planning on? Like, you know how companies have or the townships have those 10-year plan books,
Yeah, yeah,
how stuff's going to be developed out,
yeah. That could be.
you know? It,
It's and
it's like it's like this office, right? You know, when I went down to the township, the guy goes, "Just put it how you would want it." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Okay." So I put garage doors on here. I put the office how I want it. I want to do this kind
yeah,
of lighting. I put everything, right? And then I go to get everything. Oh, okay, here's your permit, right? I start getting into this. I start running out of money. So, you know, like the floor, I just want to leave it as concrete. No, building inspector comes in, he goes,
and
we
now,
can't we can't pass your electrical. And I said, why not? Because you don't have a finished floor. I said, I don't want a finished floor. I want concrete. We got a bunch of dirty men in here. I said, we're gonna get it all dirty. It's got to be finished. It's got to be polished. It's got to be painted. It's got to be tile. It's got to be carpet. So all of a sudden, then they come through and I got to do all this other stuff. You know, well, you had doors on here. You need to put those doors on. Oh, so I had to go out and take. It was either a $20,000 to $30,000 loan to wrap up everything. You know, I'm thinking I could just kind of piecemeal, like as money comes in, do this stuff. And then I got whacked right in the face because I found out when I got into it, oh, you can't do your own plumbing. You have to hire a certified plumber, you know, to do it. You can't do your own electrical. You need a certified electrician to do it. Holy crap. Well, that's all going to cost money. And my biggest battle here was I call plumbers and they, oh, we're going to do this. My bathroom's obviously not very big. You know, we're going to do this. And I always go, okay, that's great. I go, but how do we get it from here to the road? And they go, oh, I don't know. You know, we could check, but like they acted so confused. So finally, I went to the township and I said, who do you? Well, we can't recommend. And I said, but we can tell you who pulls the most permits or something. I don't care. Give me somebody. So I got hold of the one guy. So I had to have an excavator kind of guy do the plumbing outside, the plumber inside. It was just that's why sometimes I always talk about if you're starting out, stay small, keep it all, possibly lease a building because you got other fish in the fryer, man. I mean, you're so busy with other stuff going on that you don't need township or a leaky roof or you know. I mean, they were hounding me here. They called me and threatened me. We know you're doing business out of there. We see you're in a trailer and you got internet. And I'm thinking, okay. I mean, I called Comcast. I mean, that's on them to pull permits or do whatever. I mean, you know, that's not on me. You know,
yeah,
but they were all up in arms. You know,
yeah. I got Google. Google wants me to verify like every other week.
ooh, ooh,
Hell. Well, what it is my building sits behind my house,
oh,
and they're wanting me to do a video. They want a street sign. They're on to me. They're on.
dang.
Is what it is.
Yeah, I really believe I've done other businesses, and I feel like Google has really upped their game.
They want you to storefront.
Yep,
If
I think they want
you're
you to have
Google,
commercial property.
they want it to be a storefront. They want a sign on the building. They want
Yep,
because they're giving me all these things that I don't have. I don't have a sign on my building.
right,
Well, they want me to get the street sign with a sign, my signs. I have that. I did that.
right.
Well, then I got to drive down my street, around my house, between two houses, cut through the sheds. It's a drive, you know, a drive, but now. So I'm driving, I'm pointing it down at my seat, you know. Then barn. Then they want me to look around.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then round circle, I go on the other side of the van. So when my house side, the van's in the way.
Oh,
They're on to me.
yeah. And here's the thing too is I don't know if they will do this or not do this, but
Oh,
who's to say they're not going to give this to the township? And that's one thing I worry about some of these guys. So like when I did the business, I was actually zone it was zone commercial. A guy that was renting a place down for some people, he got it to like it was called like PUD or something, public undeveloped land or something like that. He got everything changed. so we could still run. But I think that's why we never got really pushed. You know what I mean? But I
Mm,
mean, remember the township? I don't know. I don't know if they go off the mail nowadays or if they go off the Google or probably both. But I remember I got a letter saying, we you're running a business, you're not certified, so I had to go pay whatever 25, $30 to get a piece of paper like we have here for me to be certified to run a business in their township, you know.
yeah,
But
that's
like our township here, we have to do the fire extinguishers. They have to be annually inspected, and the fire marshal will come around too and make sure they got inspected. So that's why it's always like Evan's one of them that I'm always like, yeah, maybe the magnets might not be up just because you know all it takes is a neighbor. It's amazing when you got a crappy neighbor, things can go south real fast.
we
So
you need if you're running a state road or like a state highway and you're marked, you have to have a in Indiana, you have to have a number at the bottom of your truck.
DOT,
Yeah, I don't.
yeah,
I
it,
thought that today I'm running up 69.
yeah.
Look, I'm
I've uh, I've tried really hard to understand it. Nobody can really give me a define because, like for Michigan, it classifies like 10,000 pounds. If a vehicle can haul over 10,000, that's not if you're carrying it. That's just if it can do that. You
oh,
have to be, and if you're doing it for commerce, you have to have DOTs. So I think that's why we've never really gotten busted with the vans because the vans are normally, I don't know what they run, like 8,000 is
mm,
roughly what they're rated for. So I think that's why we've gotten letting loose on most of it. Because my uncle at one time even was telling me, he's like, "You need DOTs," and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm just gonna wait till we get pulled over," and
yeah,
we never have. And I know that one guy got pulled over because he had a door sticking out far. It was 3 foot past the tail lights, and he didn't have a flag on it. Because I remember he came back here all sad, and what's going on? Cop got me for not having a red flag on. Oh, okay. But we've never had any trouble with that. But you got to really pay attention, and that's why sometimes like I said, me even like our highways around here are really bad. I do go on them occasionally, but I really try to stay off them because they just turn into nothing but a corral for cars to pile up,
mm,
and they got those fences and everything, so you can't turn around and when every time I get on them, it's just getting crazier and crazier the way people are driving. So back roads, you know what? If I see something ahead of me, I'm gonna take a side road. I can go in somebody's driveway, turn around. You know, I don't even really try to go up to the. If I see flashers, I just avoid them. I don't need to be a part of it. I don't need somebody gawking and smashing into me. You
yeah.
know, I'm gonna see it on Facebook probably in 12 minutes.
Uh,
So let's see here. What's he got? Tony up forward his bag. Joysticks turn 90. Sky turn nice. It says, Tony, do you rent conference room? And what does it says? And
but
box lunch.
I was gonna say, Rusty, you guys could probably go on a cruise. You, your mom, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
I was just thinking when you did your meetings, you get yourself some coffee and donuts
boy,
for
of
yourself, Tony, and
course, I go over the Longhorn, sit in the bar by myself, and have me a big old steak. Hell yeah,
right, right,
got to have that meeting.
yep. Rich was he got? Tony, his meetings is in his hot tub. Yes, there you go.
Uh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. What does it say? When we ran out of business out of our home with a small garage for storage from 1989 to 2021. But the thing is, Rusty, I think you're in a rural. You always tell me you're kind of in a rural area, so I'm assuming that was there too. So, like I said, if you're out in the boonies, out in the woods and stuff, but all it takes, like I said, if you get a neighbor that starts complaining, you
Yeah.
know, that's then it's the end because then the building inspector's got to come and all that. That stuff gets gnarly.
Hmm.
Evan's got hi says Google isn't bothering me, and I don't have an address on mine.
Oh, I have an address on mine. That,
See, now, I think Rusty was telling me a lot of people don't do addresses because that gets them out into farther. They get out into farther towns. Towns
yeah,
around.
I believe that. See, for me, where my location is, oh man, I'm taking business from a lot of companies here because I'm so close. It's just like boom, I'm 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Oh,
I got a ton.
yeah,
Everybody, I'm the first one that comes up. Boom, boom, boom. So I don't want to change my address. I want to leave it where it is because where I'm at, I believe I'm getting a lot of the work because they know I'm just around the corner from them. So they call.
Sure. And I was thinking about when Rusty mentioned it, I was kind of thinking to myself like, well, it kind of got me anxious, and I thought, well, maybe we should do that. And then but I also, my brain came back and I kind of went, I said, I don't want to go to these other towns. They're 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. And I just went,
Yeah.
we don't want to go that far, So I just went, I said, we ain't going to do nothing like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then unfortunately for us, the only place I would is over a bridge, which is a drawbridge that has a lot of problems. It gets stuck, and it's very complicated to go over the bridge where there's kind of a little bit more sweeter money over there. And I just go, it's just not worth. It's just not worth the squeeze. So Evan's lucky. Like I said, Google, in Canada might be a little different, might be more relaxed. Google used to be that way here. Heck, all you used to do is get something sent in the mail to verify you were the business, and you punch that number in, and boom, you were activated. Yes, Tony, you're right on storage front. I had to take a photo of all that stuff. I don't mind because it will keep competition away. Evan's got to be verified in Google or Google guarantee there is more requirements. I don't know what I did. Rusty says I'm on there somehow. Evan, I wonder, like, where do you rank, Evan? I'm just curious if you kind of noticed, because normally they bounce 2 or 3 spots. I know at least they do for us around here, but I'm just curious. Are you 6 down, or like, where you at? Let's see. Somehow, I think Michigan copped cars has the biggest. Was it says Mars light they make? So, Rich, what's really weird? I watch a lot of cop videos. And what's the one out there right now? I think it's on YouTube. It's like they call them like State Boys. They always got some cool introductory music to it, and I always know when it's ours because I think Michigan State Troopers are the only ones that have that stop on the hood. So I always know when they're doing the dash cam, and I always see the stop. I go, that's Michigan, and I see the blue. I don't see any other cop cars, so I don't know if that's just a real signature of Michigan, or I'm sure there's probably maybe another state out there somewhere, but we know, man, those are aggressive looking cars. Cop cars, all cop cars, they make them look aggressive. Dave's no, don't change anything on your Google profile because it could cause it to get flagged.
Yeah. I'm going to change nothing.
Okay, and then you will have to go through the process again. Didn't know that. Makes sense. They see activity. Rusty, Tanner. Oh, we got Tanner, man. Tanner finally just got off work, man.
Damn.
He's only got about 15 minutes. He got to go bed because he's got to get up about 5 in the morning. Um, Rusty says, I talked to my mechanic and he said on Skyjack, which is what I have, 3 of that. He says they are so easy to work on and parts are so not expensive. He would not be scared of one with 300 plus hours as long as it was not abused or left out all the time. I think says mine's a 3219 with 140 smooth hours, soothing hour. What do you got in there? What are you throwing up there, Tony?
I want to show you this if you can see it. Can you see the Yelp right here?
A little bit, yeah.
It says top 10 garage door companies.
Okay.
Click on it.
Uh
Boom. Tony's Garage Door Service. First one comes up.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, that feels real good to know that. That's but they call me all the time and I told them, "Hey, I don't even want my business on your platform."
Ooh.
That's what I tell them every time and boom, look where number 1.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Top 10 garage door companies in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And Paige is on there. That's her wine in the spring.
Nice. Nice. So let's see here. Back on the scissor lift. Easy to work on parts. Nice. So Tony, what kind of scissor lift do you have? What brand is yours?
Uh, I don't. It's an HB 10.
HB.
It's a hybrid.
Oh, is it red?
It's a It's yellow and white.
Okay. Okay.
It's a 10. It only to the feet, from your feet, or from the floor to your feet up, it goes 10 feet.
Okay. Okay.
Considered 16 footer because you're supposed to be 6 foot.
Got it. Got it.
I'm not 6 foot.
So here's like I know Tanner. So Tanner likes the Skyjacks. And I probably agree. I bet some of the parts are cheaper. I bet you're paying a little more premium with the genies, like a John Deere type of thing. But I
Mhm.
just know at least with our Skyjack, and ours could be an anomaly. I've been on a couple other ones though that were the same way. They were just really herky jerky. So I just every genie I've been on has always been really smooth. Um, but like I said, I don't doubt maybe the parts are easier. And it's weird because my mechanic said the genies were actually easier, but I don't think they carry Skyjack at that location. They got Skyjack and they got the red ones, which I forget what the red ones are called, HBC or something like that. They seem like they're a foreign company that makes them.
Okay.
They had one that was really small. It looked like it just fit right in a closed trailer. It was so small and
Mine,
light, dude.
mine can go through a doorway.
Yep, yep, yep.
And
And that's what we've been trying to debate. Do we, when you're in a 32-inch wide one, man, it's tight. You know what I mean? Especially with two guys. But it's always that like you can get it through a man door though. And if you got that worst case scenario, you can break the basket down and
a
there's
lot
nothing.
of a lot of like alignment racks are in the way. You get
Oh,
smaller units that you can get in there.
true, true. That is true.
Yeah.
Um, so Tanner says will not be left out all the time. He says two 3219s. I have 40 hours, 160 hours. I don't know if ours has an hour meter on it. Can get one for between 5 and 8K all day, which is true. True, true. Evan says, I'm ranked 2 out of 3. Holy crap.
Nice.
Evan, what's going on? I mean, what's up with that? And the phone's not ringing? You're just not answering? You're not changing your voicemail? I mean, do you got a website? I mean, I don't know how much I feel on the website, but doesn't that seem really high, Tony? I feel like, man, with that, you should be getting like at least one phone call, two a day.
At least one or two a day.
Yeah, I mean,
At least. I mean, and the funny thing is, I'm getting every day. It's more and more. It seems like.
are you being a good boy, Tony? Are you asking people where they're finding you?
Uh huh.
Are you?
I do a lot of times. Yeah.
Where would you say most of them come from?
Well, most most of it they'll say, off the internet. They
Oh,
don't.
yeah. Yeah, that's what they always say. God darn it.
They don't say Google or whatever. But
I know.
get a lot. I have signs out, so a lot of people will say, "Oh, over there off of 27, I see your banner on the fence."
Ah,
You know, they'll they tell me different areas where they do, so that's where I'm putting my money.
right, right, right.
Right, right now it's in signs. I did a video on my signs because people are seeing those. Another
Oh,
thing, I had a guy call me the other day. He was behind me. He says, "Hey, I don't need anything now, but I'm going to need something come up." I've gotten 5 jobs off of them. I'm talking big. It's a pure contractor. They engineer the metal frame, the like 2x4,
mhm.
for
Oh,
building, and they're contractors. So they've been giving me all kinds of door work. It's crazy.
nice,
Yeah, I've got 5 jobs less than a week.
nice.
Yeah. So I put your money in a vehicle, having it, whether it's magnets, that QR code is
So, what else can you do with Google? I mean, Google likes stimulation. You know what I mean? So I assume like Evan, he should be definitely putting pictures on there.
mhm.
Uh, it likes things like that.
The
People
feedback.
like, yeah.
People's
Oh,
feed-
that's true. Yeah, you
ev-
gotta get the reviews.
Everybody says, "Yeah, I read your reviews. You have great reviews."
Right. And in,
That's
in an easy way, you didn't hear it from me. An easy way is obviously family members
yeah.
and extended family members. You can always ask.
The best thing to do is go in, with that customer and leave with them thinking you're their buddy.
Right. Right.
Best way to say it. I mean, I treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
give everybody the same service, unless you're a dick, then I give you asshole price, But other than that, no, I treat everybody the same. And man, if you treat people good, they'll tell the next guy, they'll put a review out there, and people read that stuff. That's man, that's what's been getting my business. I've only been in business for myself. I think I'm going on 3 years now,
Oh
and for
wow.
be number one in Fort Wayne off of Yelp, that's that's big because I got
Yeah.
companies here within miles of me.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't think you can really go wrong. I mean, it never hurts to get organic reviews. I know there's been some stuff out there like I keep seeing it advertised like a card, so they can just scan your card and it'll pop them up,
Oh yeah,
things like that. And you should. Um, you can also do an incentive. Say, hey, at least if you're coming back, say, hey, we're doing something right now. We're taking $20. See, it's worth $20 to me, so I'll do $20. We'll take $20 off if you give us a review, but we need it before we come back.
yeah.
And they'll give you a review. Hey, this guy came out. You come back out. Yeah, you did it. We're gonna knock $20
Could
off.
do a
We'll do an
QR,
opener.
could do a QR code to write to your reviews. Have it.
Yep, I think you can.
They could do it while they're
Yeah, and what you can do is also just share the link. If you've already been calling them or texting them, just go on your Google thing and just share or whatever, and it goes right to them. So they don't get confused.
yeah. But yeah,
So
reviews are big. That's word of mouth. That's word of mouth on the internet. Everybody tells me that they read my reviews.
right,
And being that nice guy, being that guy that'll go out when they need you, that's
right,
what's going to the job. Not when you want to go. You
right.
know, sorry, but if you're a small guy like me and you're competing against a bunch of other people,
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
get out there and get it.
oh yeah, man.
Or what?
If
They're
you're
gonna
hungry, you gotta go.
like that apartment complex. They called me. I was there within 4 minutes. You tell me what other company would have been there. I mean, that was only pure luck that I was by there. But
Right, right.
to be there that quick,
Yeah.
that was an impression they won't forget.
Well, I mean, think about it, Tony. Our company right now, we don't do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're gonna put you on Monday. We're gonna put you on Friday. So there's room just like around here, and we don't push really the residential. And
Yeah.
I know that. I've even thought about even the after hours or weekends because we don't even monitor it anymore.
Uh,
Um, but it's I've done it. I've done it, and it's hey, I've tacked on $200-300 extra on a weekend, and I'm sitting there going, "Jeez, like I think I'm just gonna start. I'm just gonna be the weekend guy." You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'll do after hours or weekends, and then everything else is just through the week.
Well, I got to give it to Rusty 405. Hats off to you, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm making more money now.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
just, I just said F it.
yeah. That it's we've done it. We've had a guy in here.
It's
We
just
raised up
true.
to 60 to $100 on a service call, and they'll pay it. So it's just
Yeah.
what was I just watching the other day? And they were saying you I think it was a window cleaner guy, and they were saying you need to know what your market's willing to pay versus just going off assumption. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been hitting up Rusty. I get jobs and I'll say, hey, what would you charge?
Right, right,
And I might not hit his exact number, but I've,
right.
I've been getting way more than what I would go
Yeah,
and getting pretty close to his number. So yeah, feels
sure.
pretty good. And they ain't batting an eye. They
Yeah, I've heard. It's kind of like what do they say? Like a 30%. Like you technically want to be losing like about 30%. Of customers. Like if you're getting everyone, that's normally not a good sign. Like that means you're
right.
too cheap. So
Right.
there's always it just depends though. Like if you're just starting out, if you're like Evan man, you're hungry man. Like for me,
Yeah.
like $20 was $20. Otherwise I'm sitting all day doing nothing.
Right.
And so it was like, hey, I'd rather be at least, and then I think there's a velocity that happens too. When you get in front of people, all of a sudden, like for me, it always never failed, right? I do something for $20 when I was just starting out. And then the phone's ringing. I'm like, oh man, I got something for $60. God darn it. Like here I am. Okay, let's wrap this up. But it's almost like if I wouldn't have done this one for $20, this other phone call wouldn't have came in.
That's right.
It's like it's just weird like that, how it works sometimes.
Give and take.
Yep. Rich guys, Indian State Cops have unmarked black pickups and few Dodge Chargers. Man, got the fast ones. Evan Companies looks legit. Tanner says, yeah, he said, love my 30. Tanner's got, I love 3219. I can drive right through Mandor without tearing anything down, and they are good for getting in tight places. I use two on most commercial jobs and can hang. And I think he must have had something on there. Rich B's got the JLG. Rusty says, thank you, Tana. I don't, what does it say? I don't got any missed messages or calls. That's weird. That is weird
Floors me.
for Evan.
Yeah. Being ranked. Yeah.
I just that kind of blows me a little bit. Like, is it just not enough reviews? Do you got reviews? Because I like round for us, Google is pretty much the most powerful. Like I don't even know if we're on Yelp. We don't do anything with Yelp.
Well, it's not that, it's what it does. Once you get on Google, at least this is what Google told me when they wanted me to sign up. They said, once you get signed up with us, no one's going to want to not have you on their platform. So they steal the information. I didn't put stuff on there. Yelp
Right,
did. They stole
right,
a picture from another, like next door or Google or wherever.
sure,
So
sure,
that's what happens. Like, I mean, I punch up my name and I'm in Nextdoor, I'm in Yelp, I'm in all these different things. I didn't put myself in that. I put myself in Google.
right, right. And
It,
here's the thing. Like, this is what I'm starting to think a little bit of. Like you're putting out the banner signs, right? That's what you're doing, Tony.
Mhm.
I think those got a little sweet spot with people too, because for me, as I got rentals and stuff. Like, I'm looking at them going, oh, there's a power washer, or oh, there's a tree guy. There's actually a physical person that put that out there.
Yeah.
Not some gimmick on this cell phone that's
Mhm.
paying or whatever. That's a person that wants
Oh, yeah.
work, that's hungry, that probably will do it for a fair price or a cheaper price than what else I'm going to call, because everybody else has got the big stuff and everybody's got the big overhead and they got the big budgets and they're on the Google. So, like I said, I think there's also a sweet spot maybe for Evan, if he gets a couple of signs, hey,
Mhm. Signs are great, man. Put them at your grandparents' house, all your relatives' homes. Just have them
yep,
out. I mean, so what? You didn't do any work there. It's getting your name out.
yep,
I
yep.
had on
It's
one.
good to have them too when you're doing a job. Put them out there. People, it gets their attention.
Yeah. And then I had a guy, one of my properties sits kind of catty corner from Menards.
Mm.
And he says, man, it is so nice to put a face to that banner. Right away, I knew where he got me from. He said, I
Right,
did that thing all summer. He said, do you know how much business you're probably pulling off of that? I said,
right,
oh, because it's right there by Menards.
right,
You know,
right.
yeah, and people do. They do. They see. I mean, a 10 by 4 or four
Dang.
tall, 10 long.
Wow.
The state keeps taking them down. It costs me money. Put it on her fence on my property.
Right. Oh,
So I got to build some stuff. I got new ones.
right. Tanner's guy says guy can be doing springs or opener bracket or anything on a door, and I put one on each side or bigger doors and panels, and put it right in the hole on that JLG or the Skytrack. What does he got?
Yeah.
The Sky. Rusty says, Tony, are you getting more than 10 calls a day? How many do you convert? Dave, same question for your company. Ooh,
No, I don't get 10. I get, you know, it varies. I can't say, like I might get 3 to 5 a day.
let me see. This phone right here. We got different landlines. I mean, this one over here's got 5. This one's got 18. That's for today. This one, let me see what
I
this one has.
I had, for example, I had one job on the books today, and I did think I did 4 or 5. I can't remember. I think I did 5 because I came back after Michigan and did that one at the end. So I did 5 today. I had one job on the books.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's usually how it works, you
It
know.
is. It is.
And then boom, 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 boom. It'll fill my day.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes they'll want to schedule out for a Friday or something. Those I
Right.
don't. I like to go and get the job done right now.
Right.
I'm 56. I forget. Right at it. I'll get the appointment. I did that to a lady, and I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I had a brain fart. I totally overlooked you."
Right.
And I
Right.
look at my book. I didn't think I had anything for the day, and I did.
Yep.
Phone
Yep.
rings, so yeah. But I got her taken care of.
What's he got here? Music to my ears, Tony. You are worth it. There you go. Get that big
Oh,
money.
talking that, yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, Rusty.
Says my Tony just set his record with 17 service calls. And one day he is getting a cupcake party. That's funny. And then Rusty says, Evans got Rusty. What did you see that made you think my company is legit? Just curious. Google listing, website reviews, contact information, and photos. Says my website needs work. Probably got to start from scratch there. Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, it's hmm. Gosh, I'm just trying to think if there's anything to kind of add to that to help.
Evan, did you build the website yourself? I don't even have a website.
Our website is so old. I mean, it's
I don't
eight
have one.
years old.
Google's my website. Like my QR code goes to Google
Ah, right.
just because it hits my location, it gives my name, it has, and then they can look through there and it's got all that stuff in there because I don't have a website.
I know. It's hard because I never, for at least for our area. It's not like I think if we lived like on an island or lived right like it was all lakeshore, you might get those higher end people that are like searching for that, that those black doors with like tinted glass and all kinds of weird. For us, it's always more of like, oh crap, I hit my door, come fix it. you
Yeah.
know and I always remember like one guy like pushing these exotic doors. That was the and I'm like, I'm sitting in a meeting with him, and I'm like, dude, I said, I don't know where you think we live. I said, we don't sell these kind of doors. Like, that's
Yeah.
just like, I might get like 3 a month that are going to be wood grain, or somebody wants a fiberglass door. I was like,
Mhm.
we're not selling these every job. Well, you need to, and I'm thinking, they won't do it. They're look at the house, like, I mean, it's just not. It's like, yeah, it's like you're sitting here like these people want Ford Escorts, and you're telling them, but you need a Cadillac. You want a Cadillac, and they're going, I can't afford a Cadillac. I'm gonna have to use somebody else. No, but you want it. Well, I know that I want it, but I can't afford it. You know, I can give you 3 easy. Come on, you can do it.
Right.
Um, was Rusty is good for now. Morgan, what would you all ask for a flipped cable? Had 16 by 7. What does it say? Rebanded vertical track to prevent maintenance on low headroom doors. What would you all ask? Rusty's probably got something. Morgan, how much do you want / need to make per hour to be profitable? I charge 405
Yeah.
for every hour my truck is there. That's probably a good way to look at it. Like I said, I mean, that's why it's all different for everybody else. Tony's out there crushing it, getting all those service calls, and Dave is just letting them fly to the wind, so he could come up and dominate my area. You know, we got Monday to Friday. What day do you want? Tony says, Evan says, Tony, I built my website myself with Squarespace.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah,
Now,
I'm just trying to
have
think like, how do you drum up, but it takes
that
time.
thing. Do you have to pay monthly for that?
Yeah, Evan, do you got to pay monthly? And then also, Evan, I'm just curious, Evan, do you have any like sweaters or shirts made up too? Because, you should possibly, be wearing those when you're going
Wear them
to
every day.
the
My
box
wife,
first. Right.
my wife,
Right.
this is all I wear. Look,
Yep.
look.
Hey, see, we got two. Now,
Yeah,
Tony,
two of 'em.
but do you got underwear?
Oh, all right, you want to see?
No, 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 no. We're good. We're good. Guys got purple underwear too.
Yeah, I love my purple. Love my.
It's Rusty says Tony is coming to Pennsylvania first. Evan says I just have one T-shirt made so far, so it might be like I said. You might want. It just doesn't hurt, man. Like I said, you go to family events, you're out in public, you're at
Mhm.
the grocery store, and that's man. When I was doing it, it's like I'm always carrying business cards. I always had a shirt on.
Yep.
You know,
All
because
my all my kids, all my grandkids,
yeah,
everybody's got a sweatshirt, t-shirt. In case we go to parades or whatever, we all have that equipment to wear.
yeah.
Um, Another thing, your QR codes, if you'd get those made up, you can stick it on your mom and dad's back window. So when
Ooh,
you are dad or your buddies, or you can stick them on people's vehicle and
yep.
boom, you don't even have to have anything. A QR, boom, your information's right there.
I can see that being kind of more trendy now. Kind of curiosity, like what's that? And then they, maybe they save it, maybe they don't, but people just, you know,
Well, my QR code's got my emblem in the middle of it.
oh,
Says Tony's garage door in a circle.
oh,
So
oh,
walk
nice.
to the window, they'll see the QR code. Oh, it's the garage door coming. I'm going to get that.
Ah,
That's
nice.
my thinking, you know, because
Yep.
who would walk up to it and be like, I don't know if I want to click on that,
Yeah. What if it's a
what?
naked dude or something?
Yeah, yeah. Here it says it's Tony's garage door, so boom.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Just that's what it's about. Different
What's
idea.
what's what's Rich B got here? He's got something on here. What's this? Donnie song?
Osman.
I have to
What?
look him up. Rusty's got. What about vinyl wrap for your car, Evan?
Oh yeah.
Draws more attention than just magnets.
Mhm.
It does. It does. It's sometimes it's pricey, two, three, $4,000. But the only thing I ever worry about is it draws attention. That if people start sniffing and they go, he's running a business, because I don't know what your township does. I know a guy even that was in a township over from us. He was welding out of his garage and they shut him down. You can't be running a business. I know another business down the road that does undercoating now, the oil based stuff. He said he was in that same town and he said you can't even have a car lift in your garage. If you have a car lift in your garage, they'll flag you as being you're running a business, even if it's for personal, blah blah blah.
Uh,
Somebody out. He says, ask me how I know. He says because my neighbor's seen it, and that's how I got the kaboof.
that-
So you just never know. Um, but I agree, the wraps do work pretty good. They're pretty nice. What does it say? When stubbing, I shot 150 an hour. My own job is it's hard. He says I feel bad charging a lot, but don't want to be broke. 300 before I heard 405. I was saying 150. Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know. What could you add to that, Tony? I mean, could they get? It just all depends. They couldn't get a bid if they. It's always nice when you're the last bidder.
that's you definitely when I'm to the point where if they're price checking me, I want to ask them how many other ones you got. What's your best price?
Yeah,
And I do get price checked quite a bit. It's
yeah.
usually on springs.
Springs. Yeah, yeah,
Usually my price check, and I'm kind of upset because I gave a guy a price at 300 for two springs the other day, and you never.
yeah, yeah. It's customers are so hard, and that's why. It all depends. Some people like to drive out there. I'm still the type. I rather try to pre-qualify you, to make sure, like you said, you gave them a price, and say at least you didn't spend. Because what gets me is when I spend my time, my gas, my wear and tear, my flat tire that I got, you know, that I get grumpy.
Yeah. I
Uh,
thought I had one of those the other night where the lady, she called me out on a Sunday night. I got the door, put it to the floor, and then I thought I wasn't going to hear from her again. But that's the one I sold the 2 panels to. So
right.
ended up paying out. But yeah, it could have been I got screwed.
Well, so you didn't collect payment that night?
No,
Oh,
I normally don't like, it's,
yeah, it's hard to. I've actually gotten over that. Because I'd rather just, even if it's just a $65 service call or 120 or whatever, I'm
yeah,
getting something. It's like, who's that one guy, that black guy, that Denell Washington or whatever, and he says, "I'm leaving with something." He's like, "I'm not leaving here with nothing." You know,
right.
figure out. He said, "I'll send it to you when I see it tonight." But I'm leaving here with something. Damn it! I'm taking your chair. I'm doing something. I'm not
But
leaving here. You know.
like tonight, same thing. They hit their door and I got it to the floor for them. And they're going to call me tomorrow and let me know whether they want a strut put on it or a new door. That's where they're going to decide which one they want.
Right, right.
You
And
know,
see, what I think too in my head is, I go, you're leaving that, like, how you like to go out to those jobs. You're leaving time for your competition to call,
yeah.
and well,
I
what's
try.
he do? Well, can you take a few pictures? How much did he say roughly? Well, he's thinking 300. Oh, that's way too much. We only charge 200. And you're where, if you tie up their money, they
Yeah,
already gave $65. And what I always say is, you're going to pay me 65 or $100, whatever. I'm going to deduct that from the bill, but at least they're tied up with me. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
uh, I don't have anything for my vehicle wrap. Evans guy says, I'm going to do a test drive on a Trailblazer this weekend. So I'm gonna getting a new vehicle with next couple of months. Ooh, ooh. You have
Okay.
to let me know how the Trailblazer. Every time I keep thinking I'm gonna go to an SUV, I don't know. I just can't do it.
Well, Evan's got that Squarespace costs him $10 a month. That's
Ooh, yep, $10 a month. That's cheap.
yeah, that's cheap.
Rusty's guy says, Morgan, you need to figure out your numbers to be profitable. Are you a business or just doing it on the side? That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to figure out your numbers. That's for sure. You got to figure all that stuff out. You got to see what you feel like. It's hard when you're starting out. You feel like you don't want to, charge. But I forget what it was. There was something about a vacuum cleaner. I thought it was talking about the Rainbow vacuum cleaners. I watched a video a long time ago, and it was like they're willing to spend money on a Rainbow vacuum cleaner that they really don't need. That money they're going to give it to somebody. You know what I mean? So you know, it's not like we want to bend our customers over, but we also have to make a living. Because one thing I've always kind of taught myself too is, when it comes down to it, the customers don't care that you get a flat tire. The customer don't care that you get a transmission that blows out. The customer doesn't care that you can't take your grandchild out to dinner or something. They don't care. They don't care that whatever, that you're going out of business because you can't pay your bills or whatever. So that's up to you, and that's part of negotiating. And you got to be a salesperson, and you got to know when to hold, you got to know when to fold, and sometimes you got to walk away. That was always a hard thing for me. I feel like when you learn, the power of no, sometimes that can be very powerful.
That's
Just
a hard one.
just that gut feeling. I pretty much got it down these days. I've had it down years now. I can tell on the phone. I can almost tell. I will brush people off. I'll be like, yeah, yeah, and then, well, this or that. Nowadays, I mean, everybody on here has got it so much better because they all have these click, click, click pictures, pictures, pictures they can send you. Where before it was Uncle Dave used to just be on the phone listening and going, uh-huh. Well, the garage is full of a bunch of garbage. Yeah, what kind of garbage? Well, household garbage, and our sewer line broke in the basement. Okay. Well, we're a couple weeks out right now. And you know, there's this other company that I really don't like. I mean, they're a really great company. I would call these guys, you know, you know,
That's
need to figure out. He says numbers. Morgan Scott says business. I'm turning wrench. He says 50 hours a week. Prep truck. He says building ladder racks. Other 20 plus. Father of four. Oh yeah. He
oh
says I
man.
know my numbers well. He says overhead is low, probably 1,500 business expense. Okay. And then Morgan, Rusty's got how many hours per day do you plan to bill for? Ooh, Rusty's going deep.
Yeah, he does.
He's going deep.
He's always asking these questions that I have no idea how to answer.
He does good.
Scratch.
There's no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
there's so many different ways to cook an egg. You know what I mean? That it just all depends on how hungry you are and what you need to
Yeah.
do and what you want to do. And you just gotta the hard thing is too is a lot of people don't, I like how I think it was Rusty that was saying, or somebody was about, you know, it's sometimes it looks easy, but Tony, you got some years in now. I got years in. It doesn't just happen overnight. Evan's a good example. I mean, he's on Google. I mean, what
Mm.
gives? Well, you got to build those other customers. There's other ways that customers come in, and
It'll
you know
come. It'll come. Just don't give up. Just keep digging. Keep
it will.
think outside the box.
Yep. And then there might become a day that you're just going, oh my gosh, I got so much. What do I do? I've been there. I've been there. I got to a point where it's like you can sell it, baby, but can you deliver on it? And it's nope. Don't got the manpower. Stuff's not set up right. It's real pain in the butt. What's I'm shooting for 10 hours during wrenching on site per day. This is Rusty. We should start a podcast where we talk business. There you go. I can be the dumb co-host. But I mostly subcontract says 4 per square. I almost subcontract at $4 per square foot. Huh. Huh. That's interesting. Is that for garage doors? For the $4 per square foot? I used to get a lot of guys when I was starting out, for whatever reason, they'd always ask me, what do you charge per square foot? And I was always like, dude, I don't know. Like I was like, that's like, does it got high lift? Does it got low headroom track? I mean, is it insulated, non insulated? Morgan says, email Dave, get my email. I can answer more questions for you. That's cool. Appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, if we can do anything to help out, we're always trying.
Hmm.
What do you think there, Mr. Tony? Should we give another 5, 10 minutes? Anybody's got some questions
Yeah,
rolling in?
that sounds good to me. What is
You
it?
know, well, you got stuff going tomorrow too?
Matter of fact, I I don't. I got to call and order a couple Invicta doors,
Ooh,
but other than that, no,
yeah.
nothing. You're gonna easy.
I got to get I'm getting a little bit crammed because I got we got a gate that's of course a little bit farther away than I'd like. It's all of 50 minutes
Oh,
away. And I know that's not very, but when you got to deal with possibly concrete mixer, electricity, generator, gasoline, aluminum, that are you going to cut the thing down and scrap it, or are you going to salvage some of it? To poles might be crooked. To Are you going to try to straighten out the poles and how to re-anchor? Um, got a lot of stuff on the plate to try to figure out for this one, and I got next week is kind of my window. And I think the next one I got some other stuff. I got a few rental stuff that's got to get handled. So I'm spring is going to be here before I know it.
yeah.
I can, you know, I'm glad right now we're getting a minute a day. That's what I keep telling myself. We're getting a minute of daylight extra a day.
Yes, nice. I love
That's
it.
what I like that, because
Yeah.
I tell you what, these early nights really screw with me.
Mm-hmm.
It gets dark and it's like an hour later. I'm like, is it 8, 9 o'clock? I'm starting to think of, nope, it's 5:30. Fudge.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Morgan says I will. Rusty's got the old fist bump on there. So I got some Invictadors, man. I got eventually got to get my hands on one of those puppies.
Yeah.
Man, those Invictadors.
I've
No
actually
Lake Dalton's up to their old tricks, the brackets are missing. Clopay's got their issues. Just can't find a solid one.
that one that got wet still sitting out in the building. I haven't
It's,
put it. I just been dragging my feet. I don't out there a couple hours in the cold.
I get it. I get it. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Oh, hey, we got 8 likes tonight too. Not
I
bad. Not
is
bad for a Wednesday.
yeah. Yeah, I miss Paige. Miss having Paige.
Oh, I bet. I
Oh
bet. I how's she been doing otherwise? She's still like in the play.
yeah. I was hoping she'd be back by now.
You never know. You
No.
never know.
She tearing it up there. She's doing good. She's working all these weird hours and gets called out. She's on call and she's making good money. So
Something that I still keep thinking about that maybe if somebody out there in the universe comes across is I keep wondering why do we not see so I don't know about over there by you, but the roofing companies around here, all the roofing companies sub out like it's the normally it's Mexican guys.
yeah, yeah,
And I just keep wondering, I keep going, why don't we see it more in like our trades, because um like I've thought about ganging up with another one and say, hey, you eventually get one. I'm going to get one. We're going to get one service truck that's just white. We're not out to steal customers, but when you kind of get overflow, you can send them this way. Same here. You know what I mean? Kind of, and you kind of know who you have for a technician that's going to be probably going to whatever. But for you, what I was just thinking in my head, I was thinking, if you could find like I love working with Caleb, because he's willing to learn. He's hungry. He wants to learn, and he never complains. He just puts his head down and goes to work. Um, but like for you, it's like I go, what if you were to spin it in like an ad on Facebook or whatever that if somebody wants to be, because I feel like obviously here on YouTube we get people that reach out to us and stuff that want to know this business. So if you found somebody local, a younger lad that's just getting out of school or out of maybe a college and things aren't going to really work out that well, or he sees the picture going, oh, it's going to cost more money, and you said, look, I'm going to teach you not to be an employee. I want to teach you, but as you're learning, I'm going to teach you what to do so you can be, and then you're also getting a helper. You're
mm,
you're 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 benefiting somebody, because obviously I'm sure you got grandkids, right?
yeah,
So I mean, eventually, but they're probably not there yet. You got some years to go, but
hmm
there's somebody out there that if you could interview and say, I'd be willing to give you a shot, and I'll pay you a few bucks, but you understand, college isn't free, and you're getting. I'm going to teach you how to do this. I mean, I want you to be independent. I want you to hopefully remember me if he gets to a point where you can call him up and say, dude, I'm struggling. Not a problem. I got tomorrow open. I'll come over and help. You know, just something to think
yeah.
about.
I did try. I tried that on Facebook. I put an ad out there, just of what I was looking for.
Right.
Somebody eager to learn, and
Big
I,
goose,
I
goose
got
egg.
I got one from a guy in Florida that I know that he wants to do it down in Florida. I said, well, where are you? I need somebody back here in Indiana because I want to go to Florida.
No, you told him Uncle Dave's going to Florida. Screw you.
Yeah. So I had one person, and he's probably 10 years younger than me. The only one I had.
That's crazy.
I thought, wow.
Another way though too is obviously like I always keep my eyes out. Sometimes restaurants are good for more like secretarial stuff, but those hardware, the Ace Hardwares or the Lowe's, sometimes Home Depot, where you kind of how you kind of feel that that's a one off, like you don't really belong here, like
Yeah.
your business, like you know, hey man, just you ever think about something? here's my card. You know what I mean? Like,
I've done that to the oil mechanic guys,
oh yeah,
or nobody's called me.
yeah. You know how it is. You got to go through 100 to find
I
one.
mean, I mean, come on. I mean, I've worked for people before. What a better job to have. You get
Yeah,
your vehicle. There ain't somebody standing over you watching what you're doing, other than the customer if he's there.
yeah.
I mean, I loved it.
I know. Some people just, I don't know if they got to
Three.
go through the fire.
Oh,
You
you
know?
want Menards real quick? Swing into Menards. You go swing into Menards.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
There's a lot of freedom in it.
It's like, man, whatever. I worked in a factory for 20 years. That was no fun. Four
No,
wall.
no, no. I've done one for 6 years. I was the same way. They had lights. You know, the windows were really up high.
Yeah.
At the end of the machine, staring out there, going, "I just want to go outside.
Yeah.
I just want to go outside.
Uh,
I'm trapped." I see Evans guy says, "Do you guys do daylight savings?" Yes, we do.
yeah. Unfortunately.
Do you all use the Surewinders? Morgan? Oh man,
Yeah.
you might
Morgan.
as well be Tony's
Heck
buddy.
yeah, buddy. We're
Jeez.
I got two Surewinders and a Bruder.
Evans got Morgan. I'm cheap. I use winding bars. There you go. Because it takes skill. Rich B's got. Anyone
Deal.
can.
That's why there's not people doing our job. That's what I was gonna say.
What? Go ahead. Because it
Said,
takes
you know,
skill.
all them you got Mexicans doing the roof and they contract it out. It's so hard. I couldn't. My problem is trying to trust somebody to put my name on that door.
Yeah, yeah. That's
That,
always the biggest thing.
it's like you're not going to do what I do. I mean, I go to the door and I want it leaving. I want that customer to say, "Man, that door's never sound so good."
Right,
That's what I strive for every time.
right,
And
right.
other people aren't going to do that.
No, that's why I that's why I don't know if Tanner's still on here. We were talking a little bit about that, and that's why I sometimes think about like the blessings a little bit with subs. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Because maybe hit a slow time. They can dwinder off and they do their own thing or whatever. But um, one of the big builders that we do stuff for, he always told me, he said, man, because they got probably 20, 25, 30 people that, you know, work under them. And he said, if I was running this place, he said, we'd have 7 guys and everything would be subs. And there's a huge difference that I feel now that I have the rentals. Like when I have rentals, I'm not chasing sales. Everybody wants a house.
Yeah.
I'm hiring the contractors. There's such a big difference where I just had a guy message me today about drywall, sent pictures. I'm like, it looks good, dude. I'm like, where can I meet you? You know what I mean? He wants to do a good job. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm not paying him.
Yeah.
And where when we're on this side of the fence, when you're service based, it's like you're always, pretty please, can I have this job? Can I have this job? I'll do a good job. Like give me, give me, give me. It's always a weird. Then like for me, I shouldn't do it, but I kind of sometimes I get resentment if stuff doesn't go through. Like and I went out there and spent 2 hours giving that person a quote and all this, and they didn't even use me. I thought we had a connection. I thought we were doing good. And then, oh, they used this guy. Psh,
Yeah.
that was so, oh, well, I could have done it for that price. If I would have used 1 inch thick doors instead of 2 inch, yeah, I could have probably met that price too. You know, so it's really tough. It's a balancing.
Uh,
I just wonder that way if you subbed and like, dude, you're not, like, basically, I'm gonna, until they're gonna probably take off at some point, whatever. But you hope that they respect that you're kind of like that uncle that wants them to do good. That's teaching
yeah.
them how to run a skill saw, how to do stuff, whatever, do angle, do certain things. Um, that's what I kind of look at a little bit because um, the employee side is really you're held hostage. I mean, it's really a lot of well, and it's hard. How do it's like I talked to a concrete guy one time, and I asked him, I said, how do when you guys want more money, I said, what? And he goes, what I tell him, he goes, you want more money? how are you going to make me more money? And I thought, okay, fair enough. Like that's kind of the way it goes, and so, you know, and so in the business of garage doors, it's always either like, I always look at it, it's either you got only two things. You either got prices or you got more efficiency. That's about it. You know what I mean? So either you raise your prices to make more money and you might not get the jobs, or you got to be more efficient, which is having everything perfect, like that fire truck I always talk about. Everything's got to be. You show up, man. You got to have everything perfect and ready to go and organized and be able to do your job. And you didn't forget that remote or whatever. That checklist.
Yeah.
Says Rich says anyone can shuffle shingles.
Yeah.
Spit nails. Yeah, yeah. That's I mean, what's a good age to start using child's labor? Yeah. That is interesting. That's gonna make me think about that tonight, though. You know, about the skilled, because I guess then I kind of think about more like the Amish. I know Amish are kind of sometimes they're a little bit on the mule. They are labor intense.
Yeah. They don't do garage doors.
No, they
I
typically.
garage door work.
So I mean that's why I'm kind of like relating that, going Amish, Mexi,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. Like maybe there's something there. Maybe I'm just, but I always keep thinking where I
Yeah.
go,
You got to have a little something, you know.
and I'm
I
just surprised that
like.
nobody on our channels. I'm surprised that nobody does this. Or even around here, I've never had somebody come around and they go, "Hey, I work as a sub. I'm a good installer. I'll do your residential." And you're like, "Oh, okay, sweet. And we need somebody." And they bebop around. You call them and, "Oh, hey man, like, can you fit me in? I got a customer for you. I'm going to pay you because that's great, right? You're going to pay them X amount of dollars. You're going to make a couple $100. They do good work. You've already used them. Have at it. You know what I mean? They just drive around in a white van. It works good for them. I'm just
I
surprised
need.
we don't see
I need.
more of it."
Give me two of them. I'll take two.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take.
Let's see. Oh man, Tony, are you still sore from when I made the whiny bars on the one spring job? So Evan's got must have been doing something on there on the video for you.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was doing a live, I think it was, and I think what was it? I think he wanted me to use the whiny bars versus a sure winder, so I think I did sure winder with one, and then whiny bars with the other.
Oh
A
dang!
long time. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Oh man.
or anymore.
Oh man. So I love Morgan's guys. I love doing bars. Winder is just so much faster.
Yeah, way faster.
Yeah, exactly. Well, should we wrap her up, Tony?
That sounds all right with me.
Well, you wanna say goodbye, or you want me to say goodbye?
You can say your part, and I'll end it up.
All
I'll,
right. Well,
I'll
it's been fun, you guys. Dave here with Affordable Door Gate. You know where to find me, as always. Hope you guys have a great tomorrow. Remember to keep your fingers,
yeah,
and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hitting the
yeah,
like. We got 8. Like I said, if we could squeeze one more at least, maybe
yeah.
10.
Nice.
Cool, man. That'd be cool. But I understand if you already hit it. I get it.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being here and hitting the like button and hitting
Yeah.
the subscribe button and having Uncle Dave sit in with us, giving us.
Cousin Evans out, he says.
But hey, yeah, like Dave said, keep your fingers.
Yeah.
Papa Tony, out. See you guys.
See ya. Thanks, Tony.
Yep. Have a good one, Dave.
You too.
Bye.